Hello, everybody. This is Chrome. Ryan over on the ones and twos. We got Chux. We got Paulie back. Welcome to Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio, live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, bmwofatlanticcity.com. First segment brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, our certified public accountant, making yours, gibsonmayer.com. Guys, it took us a few minutes to get on here, but we are here. Thank you guys for bearing with us. We had a little bit of a little touchy technical difficulty there, but we are here. We're ready to go. It's a big week.
Let's go.
How we doing, guys?
Good. Hyped. Let's go.
There's going to be a lot to talk about. It's all the chatter's been going already. So we're going to hit our poll question of the week, brought to you by ScanzanoSports.com. What is the biggest key to victory against the Falcons this week, guys? Divisional round? Is it turnovers? Is it the physical run game versus their defensive speed? Pressure on Matt Ryan? Or is there something else that we have not touched on that we haven't thought of yet? Guys, join in. Obviously, Facebook, on YouTube. And let's get the conversation going. Guys, divisional round. We know who we're facing. We have the Atlanta Falcons. How you guys feeling?
I'm hyped. I feel like I'm the only one that's hyped up. Like, we've been waiting all year, regardless if we have Wentz or not. I'm hyped. It's Eagles playoff football, guys. Seriously. It's when's the last time we had a bye week and we're in the divisional round? When's the last time? 2008?
It's been a long time,
It's been a long time. Let's get excited.
2008, weren't they were the wild card that year. They got to the NFC Championship. Because they finished like 9-6-1 or whatever.
That was the last time
game.
Yeah, that was the last time we were playing in the divisional round.
In the divisional round, yeah, right.
That's what I meant.
I got you.
My bad.
No, it's all good. I got you.
Yeah, but
I got to be honest, I'm just not so
I know.
I'm sorry.
I feel like I'm the only one in this studio right now that's hyped up.
I know. You know, I don't think so. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm forever the optimist on things, and I try to look at the brighter side. But there is definitely a realistic kind of a touch to this week. Obviously, you know, we took last week off. Pretty much the whole studio took last week off. So just a quick touch. I mean, we really didn't get much from the Dallas game because I don't think
we got nothing.
You know, I touching on that, I don't think that we saw enough of Foles to know what we can expect. So obviously the last image that we see is negative, and you know, a lot of what you hear is negativity. But I think there's a lot of factors into this game. So it's not just going to be Foles' play. That's a huge factor.
Big
and I know Paulie's going to touch on a lot of that. Yeah. But, you know, I think for me, it's going to be a closer game. But as we were saying before we went on the air, for me, it's going to be – I do think they're the underdog. And I do think that they can do enough to put them in a position to win. What I'm concerned about, it's not can they get in a position to win, it's are they going to make those extra plays to get them over the top and get them over the hump. A lot of that's going to fall on Foles' shoulders. You know, we're going to need to make key passes and different plays. Yes. And the running game. You know, are we going to be able to create those plays on the ground to where we can, you know, get, you know, short yard first downs? Is guys like Ajayi, are we going to be able to break out those big runs when we need them? Those are the things that I'm a little bit concerned about. But again, I'm in the middle, but I am still very optimistic. And regardless, it's playoff football.
Yeah,
and it's Eagles. I'm excited.
That's what it is. There's certainly an excitement in the city, and to watch the Eagles play a playoff football game in the divisional round. That's awesome. It's really good for the city. It's really good for the team and the organization in general going forward. And when I look at this game, I see it a lot very similarly to the way the Falcons-Rams game went. Because if you watch that game, it was kind of ugly. It was kind of an ugly football game.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's going to be the same way, and it's going to come down to, as you said, it's going to come down to who can make those few more plays. And unfortunately, the way I look at it, I'm taking the NFL MVP from last season over Nick Foles in that category. And that's just because I think.
But again, that was last season.
No, but he's still Matt Ryan, though. He's still a very good quarterback, and he made those plays. That throw to Julio Jones, that touchdown.
Right, but
while he's falling down on that shitty turf, falling backwards, making that throw, that's an unbelievable. Nick Foles can't make that throw.
I know, and I get it. But historically, Matt Ryan is a hot and cold player. So you could get lights out Matt Ryan one week, and then the next week, if you get pressure
on him. But the thing, he wasn't.
Frank Vespi says here, you got to put pressure on him. If our defensive line can close the pocket and create pressure and not allow him to get outside and create, he does not much of a runner anyway, but create plays or extend plays with his legs.
He's very good in the pocket with his feet. So
right.
Yeah, I hear
There's an opportunity there for us to take him out of his game, and that's how you really.
The Rams got pressure on him too. Aaron Donald was in the backfield on every single play. And I'm not even exaggerating. That guy was in the backfield every single play. And like we talked about off air, I think that you're going to have you're going to be able to get pressure with your ends. You're going to be able to get, as we talked about, Alex Mack is arguably the best center in the entire NFL. Their guard play is not strong. Levitri just got hurt for the year. You can't double team Fletcher Cox and Timmy Jernigan. So, I mean, they're going to be able to get pressure. There's no doubt about it. But when it comes down to it, I think the Falcons are also going to be able to get pressure on Nick Foles. And who do I trust more with guys in their face? I trust Matt Ryan more than I trust Nick Foles.
I think, okay, first of all, I'm hyped, but I am trying my best to be realistic. I do think it's going to be a close game. Do I think that the Eagles are going to come out and blow them out? No. It's the Nick Foles thing does worry me a lot, as it should. I've had people tell me I'm being really too optimistic. I'm being a homer the past few weeks, when I am right there with everyone, and they're concerned with
Charles,
Foles.
Don't be a fanboy, because Charles tends to fall into that pattern.
Sometimes I can
with his Westbrook jersey on.
With my Westbrook jersey. But I am very concerned about Foles. I really am. That's the one thing. If he goes and plays the way he has been against the Raiders and the Cowboys, we're not going to win. I'll say that. He plays that bad, we're not going to win. But I do, like I said weeks ago, I do think he falls somewhere in between his play with those two games and his play in the Giants game. I think it's somewhere in that middle. And if he plays
I definitely agree with that.
If he plays like that, I think we have a pretty good shot to win this game. Vegas says they're underdogs, 2.5 or 3 point underdogs.
It's depending on who you ask.
Depending on us. Yeah. I say, the way I see it is, all I've been reading since that came out is how that's now a motivational factor for this team. The defense. I just read on Twitter that they're putting those quotes all up on the link in the hallways, in the locker room. The team is rallying around that because everyone is counting them out. Everyone is saying, they're the worst number one seed. And this is the first time, I think, since 1970 or something, where they're the number one seed that's an underdog. All right. So regardless of that, they see that as disrespect, and they're very motivated. Now, scheme wise, matchup wise, I do think that there are ways to exploit this Falcons defense. I think that the way to beat them, and I've been harping on this, but this facing the Falcons is even more important to do this, and it's to run the ball, because I think the way you beat the Falcons here, just like we did last year, is time of possession. You keep that Falcons offense off the field. You control time of possession, just like the Falcons did to the Rams. Because you look at that game, Paulie, you were 100% correct. The Rams and Aaron Donald got pressure on Matt Ryan consistently, but it's not like the Falcons lit up that Rams defense. They didn't.
No.
But what were the factors that contributed to that win for the Falcons? It was the turnovers early, which got them easy points, easy field goals, and then it was that drive coming out of halftime, which ate up half of the quarter.
That's the same thing the Titans did as well.
Exactly. Time of possession, controlling the line of scrimmage, limiting your turnovers.
It's the key to success in every NFL game. Absolutely.
Exactly. So I think the Eagles have a good chance.
Well, the one thing I'll say, and I agree with you on this, and you touched on Nick Foles and where he is. One thing that I was really encouraged by was Doug Peterson. I think it was early last week. It was like right after the Cowboys game. He came out and he said, you know what, maybe we need to take a better look at Nick Foles and look at where he's had success in the past. And where he had success was in Chip Kelly's offense, one read, quick, the ball out.
Yes.
And I think that Peterson is a very smart coach. I think he's done a hell of a job this year. He's done a great job with Carson Wentz and building that offense around him. And I think now he's had an extra week to tailor this offense to Nick Foles. So I do think in that respect you might see progress there.
Yeah.
Is it going to be enough? I don't know. But I think, to your point, I do agree that we will see a better Nick Foles. How much better, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think, too, and before I get to Facebook and you get to YouTube, you said exactly what I was going to bring up and when I brought up the whole underdog thing. I like that we're an underdog because I do feel like it's a motivator. I feel like this season, and I know Carson was the quarterback, but I look at the overall team play in these games, too. When we played teams like Kansas City, yes, we lost that game, but they played very well. And at that point, we didn't know what we had, and Kansas City was playing very well.
They were rolling.
Yeah, that was a
coming
team.
off that New England win.
That was a game we weren't supposed to even be in.
That was a closer game than the score.
Right. You look at the Carolina game. You look at the Rams game. And you look at these good teams that we played where the national media and all the experts all kind of counted us out. Even when we were the number one team in the NFC, kind of steamrolling through people still said, "Oh, well, the other shoe's going to drop for the Eagles," and they continued to step up. And then I feel like towards the end of the season, some complacency got in, including what we talked about a few weeks ago, where I don't know, was it Ajayi or somebody said they didn't properly prepare. Darby said, in all honesty, they didn't properly prepare, and I think complacency started to settle in. But now they've had a few weeks off. Guys like Ajayi and Blunt have had the chance to rest their knees, which I think is huge for the running game. And I feel like now they have a little more something. I mean, listen, it's a playoffs. You have a lot to play for. But now it's okay. Now it's proving time again. It's gut check time again. And I feel like this team has risen to the occasion when it's been gut check time this season.
That week off is, I think, that defense is going to come out on fire. I think the defense is going to play extremely well with that week off, with Jim Schwartz all this time to prepare for Matt Ryan, a guy who he's seen plenty of.
We're at home.
I think the defense is going to come out on fire. I think they're definitely going to get pressure on Matt Ryan. I think they can slow down their run game for sure. It's just a matter of how many plays can Nick Foles make to supplement that defense and complement it.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing.
And that's going to be the key. And again, we're going to get to Facebook and YouTube now. I'm just going to throw the poll question out again because I do want a lot of participation in it this week. Again, it's what's the biggest key to victory this week against the Falcons? The turnovers, the physical run game versus the defensive speed, pressure on Matt Ryan, limiting Julio Jones. Mark Kelleher jumps in. Let's get this shit, birds. Love you, Mark. Mark's always Mark's hyped. Rob Provia, what's up, boys? Have a great show. Thank you, Rob. Rob's the man.
Thanks, Rob.
Let's see. Dion Brown. Playoff football in Philly. We have to be hype. I wish I could fast forward to Saturday, but I'll wait. Let's go, birds. Gil Irizarry says weather. And weather is going to, I think it'll be a factor. Unfortunately, not as much of a factor as I hope for us.
And I think it's supposed to rain during the day and then
let's hope that changes.
And Tom Ford, my man Tom, what's up, Tom? Tom puts, but the Rams' edge rushers were nowhere near as good as ours.
That's true.
We're going to get crazy pressure all game. I agree with that.
Good
I think that the defensive line and the front four is going to do really well.
Wait, disrespecting Connor Barwin?
But I think there was just pressure. There was pressure in general, though. Like there was, again, when there's Aaron Donald was just lit. Like I could argue that Aaron Donald's the best defensive player in the NFL, and he was in that backfield every single snap.
Mm-hmm.
Dion Brown says that Reggie White jersey is freaking sick, and he puts in parentheses. I think it's no one has explained why there is a Brady jersey hanging on that damn wall. No host, not yet. I'm getting fed up. Dion, it's the goat wall, man.
It's the goat wall.
That's what it is. It's the goat wall. And whether we love him or hate him, I hate him.
He is the goat.
But he's the goat.
I'm not happy about it either, Dion.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it either.
Ryan's not happy at all. I mean, but that's the simple explanation for you. So it's the goat wall.
I haven't even, I was going to say, I'm like, I haven't even really scoped this wall out that hard.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing the the Chris Webber Iverson, which I was
We always get questions on the Webber.
Hence why the McCoy jersey's up and the Westbrook jersey's being worn.
Can you not start this right now? Can you not start this
Mark
right now?
D'Andrea says.
Oh, you mean the all-time leading rusher in
yes,
history?
Absolutely.
I was the all-time leading yards from scrimmage in franchise history.
Please. Michael D'Andrea, defense is going to be fired up. Hopefully we can run the rock. Let's go. And let's see. He also says Foles likes to throw to tight ends. Ralph Delavecchio. Ralph, my man, for the poll, it's two things. Got to get pressure on Matt Ryan. Your highest paid player on the team, Fletcher Cox, has to set the tone early for the defensive line. Okay. Yes, and Nick has to take care of the ball. And one thing we talked about is I don't think either of us or any of us are worried about the turnovers because he seems to take care of the ball. He doesn't really have careless turnovers. It's just, I mean, accuracy, I think, has been more of an issue.
It's more, to me, it's decision-making and anticipation because he's holding the ball too long and not just firing. He's a little gun-shy. Right. And if anything, it's the opposite of turnovers, you know.
Right. Yeah. And James Wilder, defense, run game, no turnovers, playoff clinches. Or playoff cliches, rather.
Yeah.
Deion Brown, up-tempo offense. Use it more when you see the defenses on their heels. Get the ball out of Foles' hand.
They will.
To your point, too, I know you've brought this up many times, Chux, is the idea of how the Falcons have good team speed on defense.
Yes.
One way to mitigate that speed would be to go a little tempo on them and wear them out.
There are a number of ways to do it, and that's one of them.
That would be one way I would try to do it as well.
Yeah, and then the last one I have here before we hit YouTube, well, two more. Deion also says, okay, cool. Now I respect it then, LOL. Thank you, finally. Talking about Brady jersey. And,
welcome. Then we can answer questions on this show. Yeah.
And Daniel Bakley says, biggest key to victory is to run the ball and mix the running backs in and out since the Rams had a great job gashing the Falcons that way. Only issue was Gurley got tired and he has no good backup, which is not an issue for us because we have.
That's actually a good point.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
They didn't have the depth that this team has to where if a Blunt or a Jai or if one of them is not effective, and even I think Clement can be very effective.
Yeah.
The other guys can step up and fill.
As a whole, too. Well, I don't know. The Rams line's pretty. I was going to say as a whole, I like the Eagles line more than the Rams in the run game, but I don't know. The Rams line's pretty damn good.
They're good. Yeah. I do like the Eagles line as a whole better.
Yeah.
If it was Jason Peters, I would totally like it more.
No debate there. Yeah. All right. YouTube guys, what's up?
I love my YouTube guys.
You guys are awesome. Khalid, what's up, brothers? What's up, Khalid? New Year. J-Lash90, what's up, J-Lash? We got, what up, fellas? Everyone needs to get their asses into that stadium ASAP and leave the tailgates.
Now?
Right now. Right now?
Yeah, I'm with you, brother.
He says we need to get a quick 3 and out and manage the clock from there. Run the rock down their throat and our D-line show us what we paid them for. Todd Womack, what's up, Todd? Philly Dilly, guys. Eagles stand up.
Philly Dilly.
We must run on the defense. Gurley had 14 carries for 118. That tells me they have trouble with the run. Actually, they held Gurley. He had that one long run. That's where majority of the 118 came from.
Yeah, it's for the most of it. He didn't have sustained. Yeah, like they couldn't sustain drives with him. Like they couldn't do it. But the Falcons, the one player that really does scare me is
Deion Jones. You're gonna say
no. I mean, I do like Deion Jones a lot.
Neal?
Grady Jarrett.
Oh, Grady Jarrett. Yeah,
that guy can play.
Grady Jarrett, the defensive tackle.
He can play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a matchup against the Eagles' best lineman, so that's a plus.
That's where I think matchup-wise
he's good, man.
Jacob Bloss, Philly Dilly.
Philly Dilly.
This is the bounce back game. He says, get Ajayi to at least 20 carries. Ajayi team's been 7-0 when he gets 20-plus carries. Jacob, I've been saying the same thing. Amen.
So I was talking to the guys last night on Sports Hounds. I think that if we can get 30 to 35 carries, 15 to 20 for Ajayi and split the rest between the other guys, I would be very happy with that formula.
That's a good formula.
I do agree at this point now we're starting to enter the point where Ajayi needs to be the lead man in the backfield.
Yeah, I think we all can agree. And I think Doug has kind of hinted at that's what's going to happen.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Well, your boy Westbrook's been chiming in on it every freaking week.
Well, he's a smart guy.
Every week.
Don't hate. He's a smart guy.
Well, better coach than
player. They were trying to get LeGarrette Blount some. They're trying to get LeGarrette Blount as incentives, I guess. So they had to.
Todd says Cox and Jernigan must be the players of the game. Sixers JT, what's up, guys? As long as we contain Devontae Freeman and Julio Jones, we should win, considering Foles doesn't suck.
Easier said than done.
And then Jacob says, if we win, would you guys rather face the Vikings or the Saints?
Vikings.
Sixers JT says Vikings. Ryan Brodo says Vikings. Interesting, guys.
Yeah, I actually feel a little bit better with Minnesota at this point.
Really?
I do.
Face the Vikings. Okay, let's have this discussion.
I wouldn't feel
because
good
I'm the
about
other way.
either, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, but I go Vikings.
I'd go Saints.
Well, for me, the decision is simple. It's
Drew
Brees versus Case Keenum.
A
That's
very,
it.
Very good point.
That's to me, that's the only point really to make.
Well, actually, no, it's
they're
not.
very
'Cause
dynamic.
The other point is,
well, the Saints have a lot of injury issues right now.
no, it's not even that. I was going to say the Saints have two Pro Bowl running backs.
No,
Not one.
That's scary.
Two Pro Bowl running backs.
I agree with you on
and
that.
while I do like Latavius Murray, he's not Alvin Kamara, and he is not Mark
He's
Ingram.
not either one of them, let alone two of them.
McKinnon or Murray are not.
Yeah,
they don't hold account.
So that would be
But
my
here's the
thing,
thing.
too, and the offense in general just scares
But then here's
me
the
way
thing.
more.
But they do have depth issues on that team right
Yes.
now
That's what I'm
because
saying.
they've had a lot of injuries.
I think with Andrews Pete, that is a huge loss. Guys, we're talking about when we started the show a few weeks back in November. I was really high on the Saints because that offensive line was beast. But now they're hurt. Losing Andrews Pete is huge for them.
It's a big loss.
Huge.
It is.
So I think they struggled with the Saints struggled with the run against the Rams, and it showed. I mean, like Kamara and Ingram were held in check. So it's not impossible. But I do agree. Like I love Ingram and Kamara, so they do scare the crap out of me. But with the Vikings, yeah, their running backs aren't on the same level as Ingram and Kamara, but they do have the best wide receiver duo in the league in Thielen and Diggs. They do have a really good tight end in Kyle Rudolph. They still have their offensive line intact, and their defense is
still have Case Keenum. Going on the road into Philly against this pass rush.
If you're going to talk about the
Drew
best
Brees.
defenses in the NFC, or even
the Vikings, absolutely.
it's the Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, matchup-wise, like Vikings really worry me because they are all around, top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams. They are the most balanced team out of anyone left. The Saints, they're still a worry for me, but I can't. I'd rather face the Saints because they're hurt, and the reasons why I tell you, I think the Vikings are really that good.
The Eagles are hurt too, man.
They are.
Wounded animals. They overcome.
Yeah, but we're not talking. We're talking about between the Vikings and Saints.
I know,
like,
but I'm saying in general, teams overcome injuries. The Eagles have done it all season.
I'm going to get back a couple more.
And they haven't had to deal with their Hall of Fame quarterback get hurt. You know,
it's
John Miller says it has to be about the Eagles' defense outplaying Falcons' offense. Nick Foles doing just enough to get points, and our kicker not missing chip shots. That burned the Panthers last week. He also says, after seeing Drew this weekend, give me the Vikings. Drew is a surgeon.
Yep. Thank you.
Daniel Bakley says Vikings played a lot of indoors, so rather face the Vikings. Michael D'Andrea says, did Atlanta play Miami week 6? I thought I heard that, and what was the result?
Miami played. I don't think it was. I know they played Ajayi. He ran for like $130 or something like that against them. That was like one of Ajayi's best games of the season.
Ajayi was the only running back this season to run for over 100 yards on the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one crazy stat where it was like only 7, something like only.
Well, maybe that's something that we have to take into an account.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying.
I honestly, to be honest, I didn't even realize that coming into the show. That's a fair point.
Ajayi.
There are only like so many running backs that have run for like 70-plus yards against this Falcons defense the last 2 years, and 3 of them are Ryan Matthews, Wendell Smallwood, and Jay Ajayi.
So either Eagles running backs or a running back who's now on the Eagles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about right there.
Just a thought.
And then Greg Milakovic says, what's up, boys? Greg, what's going on?
Hey,
Greg is on
up,
his
dude?
way to the airport right now, so he can't tune in for long.
Okay.
But, because, he's L.A. Greg now.
He's going out
He's
there again?
Greg.
He's on his way back.
Oh, okay.
He was
I was
there
about
already.
to say.
Greg's
I'm still waiting for my in and out.
Greg's going Hollywood for us. So,
Goodness gracious, Greg.
But he says, if Nicky One Glove is back there, every key has to lay on the defense. Kick ass, boys. So
Cool.
Nicky One Glove. I like that.
You
actually.
too.
That's
We got what
correct,
else we got? Jacob chimed in on the Vikings Saints question. I was hoping Saints would get knocked off by the Panthers. Sixers JT says our defense will embarrass Case Keenum. Meanwhile, Drew Brees will embarrass us. Be careful what you pursue. You pursue. That's the name of the YouTube guy.
yeah, God.
Says it all comes down to the O-line without holes for Ajayi, Blunt or Clement, and protection for Foles to make a play. We're done. Go Birds.
I definitely
I'm so
think
worried about Vitae.
Me too.
Big
I am
Vay.
so worried.
Well, it's funny you
about
say here,
Vitae.
and it says it here. Deion Brown put Big V also is a huge hey to both the running and passing
He's
game.
a huge something.
A huge key.
Yeah.
He's a huge key
Yeah.
to both the running game and passing game. Will he man up? I pray for the making plays quietly, making his blocks rather than the bad big V. Every 2 calls are on him or getting the quarterback rush sack or running backs getting stuffed on his side.
Well, that's
I wanted to say one thing real quick, too, because, I watched Sports Hounds last night. They're awesome Monday nights. And Rob was very skeptical about everything. I think this guy deserves this guy deserves a shirt because what they were doing last night is, can you bring up something that would make me feel better about this matchup? The fact that only 3 running backs have gone against Atlanta.
No, it was like 7 guys, but of the 7,
but 3 of them 3 of them have either been on the Eagles at the time, or are Eagles now. That's a fair point, and I think that I'm gonna contact Rob and say you need to watch this and give this guy a shirt.
Well, I got a whole bunch for you. I mean, Matt Ryan's 1-3 in the link.
Well, you give that to them, but he gave that, and he gets a shirt.
Okay, all right. I mean, there's like I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff to be optimistic about. But okay, we got Shay C says hello, hi Shay, and then J-90 says just saying we beat both the Falcons and Vikings last year at the link with half the team we have now. Okay, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but the
Vikings were different.
Yeah,
Vikings were different, but I don't feel like the Falcons are that much difference.
That's probably fair, if anything.
And I
think
think
could theoretically make
the argument. I think the Falcons were a better team last year.
They were a better team.
They were rolling,
year.
And they
had Shanahan.
Yes, and I'm looking at what we had in place last year is still here as far as the positives, and then we've done nothing but build on that in skill positions and everything else to be in a better position to go against them. So I feel like that's a fair point.
I think so. Matt Ryan, threw 1 touchdown in that game, right? I believe last year.
Matt Ryan does not play well in Philadelphia.
Do you remember what happened on that 1 touchdown and who got burnt?
Yes, Leo's McKelvin.
Freaking Leotis
McKelvin.
Think about how far this defense has come. Leotis McKelvin. That's what we were last year.
All year. All year I was screaming
and now we have a stud guy, a 2nd-round pick who like, hey, maybe we should play. Like, that's where we're at, though. The depth, it's so different now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but to answer your question on what the biggest difference is as far as the Falcons, number 1, not much. Second thing, if anything, they don't score as much points.
Yes.
And the defense doesn't turn the ball over, or at least cause turnovers.
Yes.
Unless you're talking about the Browns, who had a parade for going 0-16.
Which
they
was
are at the bottom of the barrel.
By the way. That parade was epic.
Epic?
Oh, it was so funny.
I thought it was a little sad.
Just seeing the people.
A little sad.
Very sad.
But it's I would think that with anyone else, but it's Cleveland, and I love how they just kind of embraced it at that point. When you know how I feel about the Cleveland Browns. I don't even want to get into this conversation yet again. To me, good on them, and just the people were so funny. The way they were dressing up in different signs, it was great.
Oh boy! All right, Sixers JT on YouTube. I will say the Saints D doesn't seem as intimidating as the Vikings D, but as long as Drew Brees is playing, their defense won't even matter. And then Headbanger McBaggins.
Nice. Okay. Headbanger McBaggins.
Howdy,
man. I love it
folks.
already.
Okay.
Howdy, folks. I hope we see a W. I have to remain optimistic. Yes. This year has been magical. We keep rising up to meet the occasion. We do.
Yeah, I agree. Deion Brown says, pardon the typos. Don't worry about it, man. I just work through it. I read it. It sounds bad, and then I just kind of work through it. You're good.
It's not a big deal.
You're good. Yeah, half the time I send stuff, I have to send it 7 times because I can mistype it. Philly Green, I hear Julio was out of practice today. Does anyone know if that was an injury or just precautionary?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's an injury, but not.
It's not anything big.
He's not missing this game.
It was precautionary. There's no need.
I expect Julio Jones to be out there and be Julio Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mike D'Andrea says, do you think we will see Sidney Jones this game?
No.
I got to be honest.
Or is he talking about Julio?
I took it as Sidney because we mentioned Sidney.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a question that we're going to see Julio, and if that's it, then we just answered it. If you're talking about Sidney Jones, I didn't really. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to see him this week.
It just doesn't make any sense to do it right now. I think you ride with the guys you have. You use Rasul Douglas as your backup, and if it comes down to it, then you use Sidney Jones maybe as your backup. Is he going to be active? Maybe, but I don't see him actually having a real role.
To your point, if we see
It was Sydney he was talking about.
If we see Sydney, that would be a bad thing, wouldn't it?
Very bad.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
might be.
That's
yeah.
not good.
It might be a bad thing.
That's
Well,
not
it
good.
depends if they decide to just like go nuts and say give the kid a shot because they just think he looked really good to them and he's looked good in practice. But I don't know. I think that would be a little bit reckless, but who knows?
Or if
Yeah.
we're somehow up by like 40 and we're playing.
Yeah, so it might actually
I'm
be
not counting on it, but
it might be a really good thing.
Yeah.
If you look at it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was more of just let's put him in there. Let's see what he's got. Give him a little NFL experience before the season's done with nothing really on the line in that game. But I think it's a different story this week. I doubt you'll see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he plays this week.
But yeah, so what else do we got here, guys? So how do you feel about the way this week kind of played out? We saw a lot of now we're getting into all the wild card round games, and we'll continue to talk Eagles. But how did you guys feel about the way this week played out? Because I thought it was like Saturday was crazy to me.
Saturday was fun.
Saturday
Yeah,
was
it
fun.
was fun.
It was very
Saturday was
fun.
fun.
You know, there was, I mean, two shocking outcomes, I would say.
Sunday afternoon was not as fun.
Saturday was
That
fun.
game was
Sunday's
brutal.
not fun.
Are you talking about the Jags game?
Yeah, the Jags
That
Bills
was
game, man. That was. I mean, I guess if you really like defense, it was good.
What I'm
but,
disappointed
man,
about is no more Bills videos, no more fan videos.
That's true. Yeah.
Here's a question to you guys on that game, because obviously it was a sluggish game. It's on the offensive side of the ball, the Jaguars-Bills game. Which one would you rather have had? A blowout? Or, I mean, because the Jags, it was still a close game. Like, it wasn't over in the, in the third quarter.
That was
Yeah.
that was a terrible game.
Oh, I'm trust me, wasn't a good game. But which one would you rather have had? You know what I mean? Because at least it was close.
For me, I would have rather seen a blowout by the Jaguars. Because then I could be like, okay, Bortles is playing well. Maybe they have a shot to make some noise in the playoffs.
Gotcha.
But with Bortles playing the way he did, are you kidding me? Like, there's honestly, guys, and this might be a quote unquote hot take, but you can make a case, I believe, for having Foles instead of Blake Bortles at times. Like in certain situations late in the game, if I'm driving down the field, I don't know if I trust Blake Bortles that much. Like there are times when he is the worst quarterback on the field, the worst quarterback
Well, it's 'cause
in
he's
the
Blake
whole
Bortles.
league. And I'm dead serious. Like, he ran for more yards than he passed. Guys,
It's not ideal.
it's horrible.
It's not
Granted,
ideal.
Bills' defense is good. I get it. But you're at home. You have that defense who's playing lights out. They held the Bills to 3 points. And you can't do anything. Like, that's so bad.
Well, what I would like to have seen is it's not just wanting to see them make noise. I want to see a team that's going to convince me that they have a chance to beat the Patriots.
Exactly.
And I do believe with a better quarterback, I would feel that this would be the team that
With
would have
like
a real
Eli Manning. What?
Oh,
Remember when we
my
were talking
God.
about
I believe that this
Yeah.
team would be a legitimate threat to them, but
Exactly.
No,
it's almost like us, except their quarterback really didn't get. I mean, that's
their
their
same
quarterback. You know what I
shitty
mean?
quarterback they've had all
Ours
season.
is our quarterback
So
got hurt
bad.
and is out, but it's almost like you have this team who I
They
think
tried to put in Chad Henne, and that didn't work out either.
But I legitimately think this team could be steamrolling people through the AFC
That defense-
if they had a better quarterback. For us, it's just we have no choice.
They
This
have
is where
weapons
we're at.
too. They have
and
weapons.
they have weapons.
Yeah.
They even with a banged up Leonard Fournette, they still have.
They
good
still have
running back with
Marquise
this-
Lee. They still
Yeah.
have. I mean, and Allen Robinson, unfortunately.
So that
D.D.
lift up his
Westbrook?
knee, but D.D.
Another Westbrook.
But
the
come
kid,
on.
what's his name? Cole.
Keelan Cole?
Keelan Cole. I mean, he could play. I mean, they got
have weapons.
talent, man.
But that was more of my disappointment of it. Not outcome didn't matter. Blowout, close game, whatever. I wanted them to be the team to show us that they can be a force and just kind of, be a formidable foe.
because
for
Lord
New
knows the
England.
Chiefs aren't that team.
Yeah. They
That
still have a
was
shot.
Do we
They still have a
even
shot.
want to get into?
Can
the
I stand on my
Chiefs?
soapbox and
Oh
say
man, here we go.
Can I
Kareem Hunt
say-
got 11 carries. Here we go.
11 carries, 14
gonna
total
take these
touches.
off.
All right, 14 total touches. I did research. This is how much.
Of
Here we
course
go.
you
All
did
right, I did
research.
research.
Of course Charles
So
did
in
research
all-
on probably on. He's going to give us every breakdown on every play that Kareem Hunt did and did
I'll sum
not
it up.
play in.
No, I did week by week, but I'll sum it up. In all of the Chiefs' losses, Kareem Hunt averaged about 15 carries, 15 touches a game. Touches. I'm counting carries and catches. In their wins,
And pats on the ass.
In their wins, he averaged 25. Anyone else find that alarming?
No, because it's
Like,
Andy Reid. What do you
it's-
expect?
Holy shit! And so
Actually, it was Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy.
He's calling the plays.
Matt
Ever
Nagy.
since they started
Okay,
struggling,
yeah.
he was the one calling the
But
plays.
even during that
Was
losing
calling
streak,
the plays.
even
Yeah.
during that losing streak, Kareem Hunt still didn't get touches. Now, there was someone else I was listening to on one of my podcasts saying, "Oh, but you got to watch the game and consider game flow because the Titans came out at halftime and had that long sustaining drive," which is true. And the running game wasn't really in the second half. The running game didn't get into a flow. I get that. But in the fourth quarter, I went back to every single offensive snap the Chiefs had, and they're throwing passes to their backup tight end numerous times. They're throwing it to Albert Wilson. Like, Kareem Hunt, like, I get it. He's not a wide receiver, but when it comes to playoff time, you have your best offensive weapon in Kareem Hunt. You get him touches. Throw him a screen. Flank him out and throw him a slant. Do something. Manufacture ways to get him the ball because you want the ball in your best player's hands in playoff time. And that, whether it be Nagy or Andy Reid, I don't care. I blame both of them. The fact that Kareem Hunt only came away with 14 touches, that they totally deserve that loss.
Well, especially again, it's like when they're up. I mean, they were winning. They were winning the entire game.
Well, he did what we classically see Andy Reid do. He got way too conservative. Threw the ball.
Still
threw the ball way too much. Now, my question: you're a running back guy. How do you feel about Tennessee's situation now in the backfield?
Oh, Derrick Henry
is an absolute freaking
That is a
stud,
blessing in disguise. Are
which,
you
by
kidding
the
me?
way, is probably going to be a keeper on my fantasy team.
Good. He's anyone who's in a keeper league and has Derrick Henry should consider Derrick.
Well, right
Henry.
now I'm looking at Derrick Henry,
He's a stud.
David Johnson, and
he's an
Adam
absolute beast.
Thielen. So.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast. Like having him back there now over DeMarco Murray.
He should have been getting.
He should have been. I've been
getting the
screaming
touches.
since the beginning of the season that Derrick Henry should have been the starter over DeMarco Murray. He is the biggest running back I see in the league right now, even bigger than Todd Gurley. He's 6'3", 6'4". He's a mammoth, and like he's so physical, and he doesn't have great like feet and agility, but he has good he has deceptive speed where he can get by you. Like if you give him an angle, he can run right by you, and next thing you know, like you're grasping at air because you don't want to. An arm tackle isn't going to do anything to him. He's going to break every single arm tackle there is. So you have to get Derrick Henry on the ground. You have to gang tackle him. You're not going to get him down with one person. So he's a different beast. Is he going to be an elite running back? I don't think he can be, but I think he'd be a very, very good starter. Very good starter.
So what do you think happens to DeMarco next year?
See ya.
Bye. He's gone.
Now, how many years does he have in his contract?
I think they can
release.
I think they can if they released him this year.
I don't know what the cap.
I'm pretty sure if they released him, they would save money by releasing him.
Well,
I don't think it's direct.
That's a no-brainer then.
Yeah. It's funny because Derrick Henry, I remember when he was at the Combine, they compared him from a measurable standpoint to Von Miller. Like everything, like his size, his weight, his 40 time was
insane.
all that everyone was like, man, maybe he should be because I remember a lot of people thought like, because he was a second-round pick and he was clearly the best running back in the country.
Yeah.
But people thought, no, like there's no way he's not a first-round pick. He's got to be a second-round pick because they just weren't, like you said, a guy that size. They weren't like no one thought he could be a number one back in the NFL. You see guys like Ron Dane and those kind of guys who just don't. They're really great college running backs and they just don't have it in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I actually think he can be a Pro Bowl caliber back.
Oh, Pro Bowl, yeah. I
think he can be that good.
When I distinguish elite, I'm talking about like when I say elite, I mean like Hall of Fame potential, like that. Where you're talking about like an absolute that's what I mean. But like he can be a really really good. Where he can be an occasional Pro Bowl. Like he's a stud. He's really really good. And he can break the long play because he's a running back, a big running back with really good speed.
Yeah. I'm going to get back to Facebook.
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get back to the poll question. I actually want to answer the poll question. I don't even think I ever answered it. So
I don't think I did either.
But Brian Eckert says Andy Reid is still a Hall of Fame coach, which I agree. But
he is. But
I don't know how long he's going to be in Kansas City. He might make it through next year, but it's getting
days could be numbered.
It's getting gut check time for him.
Well, quick, depending on how Patrick Mahomes does, maybe that could extend Reed's thing.
Yeah. Deion Brown says, fellas, please let's not let the coaching get away with murder. Either obviously the big two in Dougie P and Schwartz. All week, all I hear is Foles. Well, what about the coaches whom are dialing up the plays, recognizing the mismatches on both sides of the ball and utilizing those mismatches to our advantage? So please, the coaches are a huge part of the equation as well. Put your players in the best position to make plays.
You can only do so much. We just
Players
talked
on
about,
the field still got to make plays.
Yeah, we just talked about Blake
I agree.
Bortles. What is you're gonna fire the Jaguars offensive coordinator because Blake Bortles sucks? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't. Like,
No.
Yeah.
you lost the MVP of the Carson. Let's keep that in perspective. Carson Wentz was gonna win the MVP this year.
I really hope so.
He was gonna run
Yeah.
away with
I
it.
really, yeah.
No, not
I mean,
now.
Are you talking about now or before?
No,
Oh, okay.
Before the injury, he was going to run away with the damn thing.
Yeah.
He got 2 second-team All-Pro votes, missing the last 3 games of the season.
Yeah.
He was going to run away with the MVP. Especially he was going to face 2 inferior opponents in his games after he got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
So he was going to put up numbers, and to just take that away. Like, what is Doug? Like, Doug Peterson's not a miracle worker. I mean, God, he got the team to 13-3. Like, what else can you ask from the guy? I mean,
Yeah.
I agree to an extent. Like, he does have to, as he admitted, he has to make the game plan more suitable to Nick Foles.
Yes.
I agree with that. But at the same time, Nick Foles has got to play. Nick Foles has got to be. Again, he's not going to be 27-2, and he's not going to be the garbage he's been the last 2 weeks. But he has to be something in the middle of that if they're
Yeah.
expecting to win any games.
Yeah, Michael DeAndrea. So put in what do you guys think about the game? So that's why I want to jump back into this. Tom put pressuring Matt Ryan. I agree because to me, pressuring Matt Ryan then that limits Julio Jones. So it's all kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah.
That'll limit Julio Jones. That also puts us in a position to create more turnovers. So I feel like that's the key to make the other two happen. The defense is obviously a huge thing for us. The offense as far as taking advantage of the limitations on their defense. But to me, I'm less concerned with the defense. I think they showed me enough, even down the stretch. Again, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think people undercut because you look at the record and how they performed, and because of Derek Carr underperforming most of the season. There's a lot of skill positions and skilled players on that Raiders offense. And aside from one big play to Amari Cooper,
They were held in check.
I felt like Marshawn Lynch was starting to play like the old Marshawn Lynch because now it took him a while, but it was like he was getting back into game shape and
Definitely
getting
the
more
best
comfortable
football.
on the
Best
field.
football of the season.
I felt like they shut him down for the most part, or at least limited him and controlled him enough. I felt like they shut it down in the red zone when they needed to make plays, as this defense has done all season. And I think most teams in this league would take Jared Cook, Amari Cooper, Jesus God, I'm brain freezing. Sorry, guys, and Michael Crabtree as your primary 3 receivers on your team. And I felt like they did a very good job at limiting all the skill positions defensively. So to me, I'm less concerned. Obviously, we've talked about it with Foles. We got it. It's going to be somewhere in the middle. But defense, front 4, pressure on Matt Ryan, get him uncomfortable in the pocket.
Yeah.
To get him out of the pocket. That's what you got to do.
So kind of piggybacking a little bit off what you were saying, so my pick would actually be physical run game because
I was going to say the same
I
thing.
think here's the way I look at all 4 of these things, right? Turnovers, that's a given really in any football game, let alone a playoff game. And I think, like we've mentioned, I think Nick Foles is okay in that category. If anything, he's a little gun shy. Pressure on Matt Ryan, I think they will absolutely get pressure on Matt Ryan. I think their front is better than the Falcons' front. I think they'll definitely get pressure on Matt Ryan. Limiting Julio Jones, I think it doesn't matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but last year Julio Jones had 10 catches for 135 yards against them, and they won.
Yeah.
So sometimes a great player, that's just like one of those deals, a great player is going to get his. So,
And who was covering Leotis McCallum?
well, whatever, direct, Nolan Carroll, whoever the hell was out there last year.
Nolan who?
Exactly. But so to me, out of all those things, the physical run game is the only thing where it's like, okay, like that's something that they haven't been doing that they have to get back to.
Yes.
So out of all those things, they need to get back to that because that is going to make Nick Foles better, and it also is going to make the defense better because it's going to take them off the field. And as we talked about, time of possession is going to be huge. So for me, I say physical run game.
Yeah, I say Paulie pretty much took my argument.
I'm a jerk, Chux.
No,
I'm sorry.
Fine. It's fine. I love what you do because it's less talking for me. But it is. It's to me because the physical run game can lead to all the other things that you talked about. And I think that with the Falcons' speed, the way you counteract that is with a lot of interior runs, and you get that's where Blunt comes into play. Like, you need to get Blunt some carries here. Like, I've been screaming for Ajayi to get majority carries and touches, but I never said phase Blunt out. Blunt has a specific role, and we need him on specific plays. There are certain plays where we have to use that wham play, trap play, the inside zone split, where you just run it straight up, and Blunt has to be the person to just get upfield in a straight line. Now, when it comes to the outside zones, when it comes to the toss plays, the sweep plays, the counters, Ajayi and Clement run those. You need to get Kelsey, you need to get Brooks, you need to get all those interior linemen moving. And if you pull them and you execute those blocks perfectly, even with Vaitai is a big dude. And his main struggles are with pass blocking, but in run blocking, he's serviceable. He's not bad. So you get them moving in space, and you get a hat on those. You get a hat on Deion Jones. You get a hat on Keanu Neal, who are fast guys, but they're smaller guys. This is a fast but small defense that can be pushed around, that can be physical with our offensive line. So you get that offensive line moving, and you be physical the whole game. We can control that clock. We can really beat this defense, and that's why I think if you do that, that's why I believe that this team has a good shot because the Falcons defense can be beat. Okay, that speed can be counteracted with a lot of stuff that I just mentioned, a lot of misdirection on the run play. So you do that, I think that's the key. It starts with that, and everything else follows suit.
Well, I mean, do you get creative this week because it's the playoffs?
It's not creative.
No. I'm saying, does the coaching staff get creative this week and maybe do things that they haven't done so much this season? I've been begging to have two backs in the backfield, whether it be Ajayi or Blunt with Corey Clement, and
I don't
try to create some kind of a deception, even if it's one or two different plays at a different point in the game.
I think you do have a point because if you looked in that Dallas game, there was that one end around that they had Aguilar run to I think it was to the right side, and I think it was DeMarcus Lawrence that. What happened was it was if you guys know what I'm talking about, just go back to the game and you'll see what I'm talking about. It was an end around to Aguilar that they never ran all season, but they tried it. Aguilar had a lane. If he gets by Sean Lee, then it could have been a touchdown. What happened was DeMarcus Lawrence unexpectedly slanted inside and took on Brooks. Brooks was supposed to pull and lead out and block on Sean Lee, and if that had happened in the play design and worked, it would have been a touchdown, arguably. But because of that unexpected play, because Marcus Lawrence got on Brooks, there was no lead blocker ahead to engage with Sean Lee, and then he was stopped for, I think, a minimal yard gain. But that could be a sign that the coaches might try one or two plays that they haven't shown all season.
See, I hear what you're saying. I think plays definitely, but I just think something like that, like personnel as far as two running backs, I can't see them doing it only because I just don't see. I don't want to say I don't see the benefit, but I guess that's the only way to put it. I don't really see the benefit of putting two Ajayi and Blunt, who I don't want to say are similar, but they kind of are in the backfield. Where I think it always works. It worked better as we talked about when you had a Darren Sproles, who you could shift out into the slot or do whatever, and that could really screw up a defense and that could really mess. But when you have
Well, that's why that's why I said. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't have Ajayi and Blunt in the backfield. I'm saying one or the other with Clement because he can catch the ball.
Yeah,
you can do plays like that. He's not Darren Sproles, but you can be creative and try to create some kind of a deception that you haven't been able to do since what was it, week 3 when Sproles went down, or week 4?
Week 3.
See, I'd rather go 3 tight ends and get all because we have 3 talented tight ends.
I agree with that. I don't know why they don't do enough of that.
Yeah, they do. They do a fair amount of it. Yeah, they do a fair amount of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I just want to see something a little bit different, and maybe
And
they are.
will.
Maybe they
They'll have
are.
wrinkles.
Maybe they are planning that.
And I think
to be more suitable, like you said, to what full skill sets are at
Sure.
this point.
I think I think you kind of touched on it earlier. Where you said they were vanilla. There wasn't a lot of creativity in the last 2 games they played against the Raiders or the Cowboys for good reason. They shouldn't. They should have. And the fact that the fact that against the Raiders they did enough to win, great.
Yeah, you don't show your hand.
No, not
you don't empty out the playbook and dump it all out on the table.
It's going again. We've talked. It's going to be a game plan not only tailored to Nick Foles, but it's also going to be a game plan that the Falcons haven't seen. It's going to be different from what the Falcons have seen.
Yeah. Let's get to YouTube. I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
Sixers JT says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Desmond Trufant was active against us last season.
That's correct.
Was it correct? Yeah, because I didn't know. And then Jay Lash countered, even if Trufant wasn't active, we had DGB.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
The receivers
true.
weren't exactly the focal point in that one.
Headbanger McBaggins again says, Hollins needs to play over Torrey.
Amazing.
He has more chemistry with Nick. They both were backups before. Sixers JT agreed with that. Jacob Law says Pats make Super Bowl again. Headbanger McBaggins
I'll answer that. Yes.
Yeah.
It says,
the Pats make the Super Bowl again. Ryan's over there shaking his head. Yes. Yes, Ryan.
McBaggins says,
I don't know
let's
who beats
line
him.
these positions up side by side. What do you think has the advantage? This isn't just Nick versus Matt Ryan. This is Eagles versus Falcons. Who wins each individual matchup? Let's get into that, but let me finish these two. Antonio,
Did he list all the matchups that he has there?
No.
Okay.
Antonio Atrisco says, doesn't matter who we face. If we win this, we already achieved. I think that goes into what you were saying, Ryan. Like, win or lose, like, we've already, like...
Oh, when? Yesterday?
Yeah, on your video, kind of.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. I just wouldn't call it. And I was going to ask you about the... I'll save it. I'll save it for later.
All right. But, I mean, real quick, if you want to go, like,
Pure
side by
matchups?
side, matchup.
I would say the only thing that I'd really definitively give the Eagles the advantage is, and it's a big one, is the lines. I'd say that I like the Eagles' offensive line more than the Falcons' defensive line and vice versa. But I would take their secondary over ours, like against our receivers. I think that's a matchup that favors them.
Except for Aguilar. I think Aguilar can expose their slot corner. I forget who this is.
Poole, but I like Poole. I think he's a pretty solid player. I think they
No,
have
Poole's good, but I would take Aguilar. I think Aguilar has pretty much. You can argue Aguilar's been one of the top slot receivers in the league this
absolutely.
year.
He's a great year.
Yeah, I think he can exploit any slot corner, almost any slot corner at this point. But it's arguable. Poole is good.
Yeah.
Poole is good. I don't want to make it seem like
And then
I'm
their
saying
safety,
it's easy,
two very good safeties.
Very
too.
fast safeties,
Ricardo
yeah.
Allen and Keanu Neal.
I think that's very interesting because I don't know if Ertz has a big game this game.
It's a tough matchup for Ertz. They have really good fast linebackers who cover very well.
Yeah.
So it is. You're right. This is a very tough matchup for Zach Ertz.
No yak this game for Ertz.
No yak any game. So real quick, Mike D'Andrea says Eagles are tough to beat at home. Going to be exciting on Saturday, and Saturday can't come soon enough. Go Birds. I agree. Obviously, I'm excited. But I wanted to get Deion Brown, because we're going to be going to break soon, and Deion actually commented. And he said, don't kill me for this, fellas. Off topic real quick. Can you guys see the Sixers throwing money at LeBron this coming off season? And he wanted us to address – he was curious if we could address it before the break. So why don't we go – we'll take a break from the Eagles for a few minutes. Let's talk about that. And let's get a little quick Sixers talk in here and see how we feel about it, because
I could see it.
I definitely could see it.
I can see it.
Listen, they're going to have the money there. I think there's an opportunity, and I've not been shy about saying that I think the writing is on the wall with LeBron's love affair for Philly. I mean, even from the little things that he's a Dallas fan and he loves Carson and he continues to talk about it, to how much does he talk about Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid during that game against Oklahoma City, the three overtime game. LeBron was tweeting, and you know LeBron was sitting at home saying, I could be there right now on that team, being the guy to get them over the hump in that game.
Here's the only
and I know that he's envisioning himself in that 76ers jersey. I am too.
I agree with a lot of what you said. Here's my only thing, though. He lives in L.A.
Yeah.
That's where his family is. That's where his wife is. That's where his kids are. He and Paul George can both sign with the Lakers next year. So I'm not saying that I think that's definitely going, like, because there are people who are already saying, oh, yeah, he's going to sign with the Lakers, no doubt about it.
But I
think he could sign. I sort of think this, too. Because, like, I hear what you're saying with Ben Simmons because they're very close, but I also, there's a part of me that feels like he wants this to be Ben Simmons' team.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
it could be.
Like, he doesn't want to come
yeah.
here and take over Ben Simmons'
think,
team. Like, he
yeah.
wants Ben Simmons to do his thing.
No,
And also, like, they share the same agency, and, like, as much as, like,
Yeah.
I know that's, like, maybe that's, like, next level too much thinking, but, like, their brand, like, they want Ben Simmons to be that player. They want him to be the franchise cornerstone for the Sixers.
And I agree with that, but and that's a fair point. But at the same time, LeBron wants to win. LeBron has always wanted to win, and to me, I don't know at this stage in LeBron's career if he wants to. And I know him and Paul George would be excellent, obviously, with that team. But you also have what's his name?
Zoe?
Yeah.
Lonzo.
Jesus, I couldn't. We were talking about LaMelo earlier, and I had his freaking name.
Yeah, LaMelo.
You got Lonzo Ball and
Oh,
all
it's
that.
fine. They're all going to come. It's
But you
gonna
have
be
that.
great.
You have Lonzo Ball. You have all that drama there. I don't know that LeBron wants to get mixed up in that kind of a situation.
Here's what I'll say. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I was going to say real quick, to your point, Chrome, I was going to bring it up to you, Paul. If Paul George and LeBron go to the Lakers, Lonzo's not on that team, and you can lock that down.
Yeah.
He's not on that team.
You might be right.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, though, too. On top of that, you're going to tell me that the Lakers, the NBA in general, is going to listen to LeVar Ball's ass when LeBron James is on that team? LeBron James is the king. He is the NBA.
Listen, Luke Walton's presser was amazing
that
we
was
shared
amazing.
earlier. I absolutely loved it. And you know he wasn't just kidding.
The second thing on this is it's all to answer Dion's question, it's not a Sixers decision, it's a LeBron decision.
Yeah.
Obviously the opportunity
If LeBron says, "Hey, I want to sign with Philly," they'll make it happen.
they're not
They'll make it
going
happen.
to hang up the phone
That's
on
it.
him.
Here's
You
the
know
thing.
what I mean?
Not that. Listen, if LeBron wants to come here, he comes. I completely agree with you guys said. But you got to factor in too. If he comes here, JJ Redick probably ain't coming back.
I'll
Yeah.
take LeBron.
I'll sacrifice.
I hear you. No.
I love
I'm
JJ
not saying
Redick.
you're
I
wrong.
love
No.
the guy, but I
No,
will take LeBron.
I
in a heartbeat.
completely agree with you. But my point is, you're gonna have to do certain things. It's basically gonna be LeBron, Simmons, Embiid, and maybe Fultz, and then everything.
And Covington, because unless they move him.
You're
Well,
not
who's
gonna
gonna
be able to
play
move
the
that
one?
contract right now.
Then you have Covington.
So then I don't know. I don't know how they're going to fill out the rest of the roster. I
Yeah.
mean, TJ's going to be back, but he's got a contract extension coming up soon. So I don't know.
A lot of teams. I mean, when LeBron was in
LeBron
Miami,
loves TJ too.
I
LeBron
know
loves
he
TJ
does.
McConnell.
because TJ is a baller, dude. Like
TJ's
TJ,
awesome.
TJ is not the sexiest name out there, but he is a more than serviceable backup point guard, and the dude just knows how to win. Like he knows how to. He plays winning basketball, not knows how to win, but
If you were
he plays winning basketball.
He does the dirty stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If you were to ask me what's more likely, it's going to be him staying in Cleveland because I think in this
I
point
agree.
of the career, I think he would definitely rather play with established veterans than quote-unquote babysit. So
but at the same time, who's he going to play with in Cleveland? I mean, because
Yeah,
Isaiah Thomas can walk. And
I agree. Well, that's why I think the close second is him going to Philly, obviously, and that's why And I understand you bring up the Lakers because everyone's brought it up, but you're not the only. You're not coming out of left field with that. But to me, obviously, him going to the Lakers, and if Paul George comes or not, or if he goes to the Sixers, either way, he's going to a young team. And to me, if I'm LeBron, if I'm any player that's looking at a possible place to go to, and you have those two on the table. The Sixers are farther along, and I understand they're not a lock to be a playoff team. I get they still have their inconsistencies. They're still very young.
But you see it.
They
You see the
have
potential.
People are already guaranteeing they have not one but two stars, and we haven't even seen Fultz yet. So you put LeBron on top of that,
Which, by the
in
way,
a weak Eastern Conference instead of the Lakers where
Right.
they're in the West.
No, I hear you. My thing with the Lakers though too, it's a young team right now, but they've already ostensibly have put out there that they are trying to trade everybody on. They're trying to trade Jordan Clarkson. They're trying to trade Luol Deng's awful contract. They're trying to trade Larry Nance. They're trying to get rid of everybody. And why they're doing that? Because they are trying to make as much cap space as possible. Because they're trying to get LeBron, they're trying to get Paul George, and they're trying to get somebody else. They are trying to build a big three in LA. And so, I totally hear what you guys are saying.
But they're trying to build a big three. They're not quite at that level, but we may already have the two in place.
I hear you, but
to where LeBron is that missing piece.
Paul George is already an established all-star. They might look to get another established all-star to play with LeBron James so that they can win immediately. Because as we've seen, that's all it takes is 3 damn superstars and a couple of good complementary players, and you can make it work.
It might take
That's
4.
true with the Golden State. You're right.
Golden State, it's all about Golden State. It's all about right now, and this is what basketball has come to, which I'm not a fan of, but it is what it is. It's all about who can top who can top Golden State. All right, and Golden State has 4 all-stars.
Well, it's the Patriots who can top the Patriots, who can top Golden State.
But it's even more so of
I would say
it's even
more ridiculous. Yeah.
The NBA is much. It's the most difficult sport to overcome. Yeah. Like that's why there's so many dynasties in the history of the sport, because there's only 12 guys to a team. Once you get that core in place, and if you get them at the right time, all you got to do is put a few pieces around it, and it's dominance.
But nowadays it's even harder. It's even more difficult because of, and I'm sorry to say, because of the whole super team kind of mentality or trend. Because you've had super teams before. You've had teams where it's been like 3 all-stars. But the thing is, it's such a trend now. That's a difference. It's a trend for all the superstars to team up. It's about who can beat and top that. A team is going to need right now. If they're going to contend with the Warriors in the next couple of years.
I know what Paul is saying, but I just feel like let's not undercut what Philly has done as far as putting Embiid in place, as far as putting Simmons in place, and Markelle Fultz. And we'll see what he has. He looks much better. I mean, his free throw alone looks 1,000 times better.
People,
right.
Listen,
I'm not worried about
anyone
him.
who's freaking out about Markelle Fultz. Like, relax, dude. Like, there's a reason why he was the #1 overall pick. Like, relax. You'll see it soon enough. He'll be fine.
The other thing I wanted to touch on with you said, Paul, with the whole Ben Simmons becoming his own guy type of a thing. And that's a good point. But I think if LeBron joins him, that makes him a bigger star quicker.
Yeah,
maybe even bigger.
You might be right.
You speed up the pace because your team gets a lot better instantly.
It's fair.
2, let me ask you, what's the storyline with that team now? With those 2 guys, if they're on the same team, what's the storyline? When you're going into next season,
brother.
The present and the future.
Well, sure. Yeah.
With the guy Joel Embiid, and we don't even know what Fultz is yet. That's the bonus.
And that's how I look at it. I don't look at it as LeBron would come here and even look at it like his team. I remember when, it turned out to be a little bit different, but I don't think it would be intentional. Right. I mean, because it's LeBron. But when he went to Miami, he said, this is like, to him in his mind, regardless of what we all think, to him in his mind, he said this was Dwayne Wade's team and I'm here. I don't want to, he even said, and he got criticized for it, I don't want to be the guy to score. I would rather be more like a Magic Johnson than be a Michael Jordan. Yeah. And he got crushed for that, saying, oh, well, he's not the guy who doesn't want to. And I thought that was a great point, that he wanted to, he wants to be the guy. And I could see him being there and wanting to be a catalyst, not just to get this team over the hump because he wants to win, but to develop Ben Simmons the right way.
I think
to leave him and this team in a better position going forward, even after the fact when LeBron is
That's
gone.
where I agree. Because I think I agree with Ryan. Where if I were to bet, I'd say the odds are he stays in Cleveland. But after that, I do agree. I think the next best team with the highest probability is the Sixers, and that's a good point because I think even though he would be joining a team that's still young, he's joining a team where he can be the guy now, but then he's in the twilight of his career. He has a core group of players there that he can easily hand the reins over to.
And you know what?
If
he starts to decline,
Ben's
going up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a smooth transition
It's a whole
to where
thing, yes.
even if he's contributing a little bit less, is still going to be doing more than enough to help this team maintain their level.
I'm going to put one more name out there if we're going to go Lakers too. Chris Paul. If
Paul, we've heard that 900 times.
But I'm just,
if
you get Chris Paul, Paul George, and LeBron James, I don't care who the hell else you put on that team, they're going to win a hell of a lot of basketball games. So I'm just like, if LeBron James comes here, it would be amazing. It would be incredible for the organization, incredible for the city, and Lord knows there is no fan base that would deserve it more than the Sixers to have that happen. But I'm just trying to be. I'm trying to play devil's advocate and say, like, LA is.
I hear you.
I hear what you guys are saying, but LA really is a good destination because first of all, it's LA. He has personal ties to LA, and they can just clear up a shit ton of cap space and bring in whoever he wants.
But again, Golden State.
It's all about
he's gonna have to play him in the Eastern Conference.
But I'm saying
eventually, if he wants to win a ring.
But I'm saying he could get to the finals
and play them in the
finals.
But he doesn't care about just making it to the finals.
Absolutely. What I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, it's about. I get what you're saying. It's about what's the best way to beat them? What's the easiest path for him to get over the hump of beating the Warriors? The Eastern Conference. You go through the Eastern Conference,
but would it be?
You face
would
the
it be?
Warriors.
Because now he's facing him in the finals after he's already had to go through the East, and again the guy gets more wear and tear in his body than any basketball player ever because of how many games he's played. So maybe it would be better to play them before he gets to that point. And then whoever he plays in the East, he's going to kick the crap out of.
I totally disagree.
Because I think in the West, it's harder.
In the West, round by round, you're going to get more wear and tear because you're playing tougher teams each round.
But my point is, before he even he's going to play the Warriors before he gets to the finals. So he's already going to get the Warriors out of the way. And then whoever he plays in the East, it's going to be a freaking cakewalk.
No, I completely there's good points. I understand what you're saying.
Me too, and I'm glad that you're playing devil's advocate on this.
They're good. They're legit.
It's okay. I like playing devil's advocate. It's fun.
Number one, your question on does he really care about getting to the finals?
Yes.
Abso-freaking
He wants to be in the finals every year.
If he doesn't win a ring, he doesn't give a shit.
Finals appearances, the streak, that doesn't matter to him?
I don't think it matters.
I disagree with that.
If he doesn't win a ring, he doesn't care.
I don't think
if it's not a ring, he does not care.
Well, let me ask you this then. Because, like you said, either way, he has to play Golden State. What looks better on the resume, Paul? Him losing to Golden State in the second round or in the finals, finals where he has a streak?
I agree with you.
I agree with you. If he loses to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, or if he's in the East and losing them in the finals, I don't think that makes any difference to him at all. If he doesn't win, if he doesn't beat him, he doesn't beat him. He does not.
LeBron loves his legacy.
It's not about moral, but it's not about.
I love LeBron. LeBron loves his legacy. And his legacy is so much better when he's in the finals.
He wants his legacy to win rings. He doesn't want his legacy to be the guy who reached the most finals. He wants to beat Jordan. He wants to have 7 damn rings. He doesn't want to reach more finals than anybody.
I agree with Paulie on
come
that.
on. That's the best. So he wants to be the best runner-up every year. He's going to take. It's going to be on his legacy. He's going to be proud of that. No, he wants rings.
Two questions for you.
Hold on, real quick to add. But you know what some people are going to say. If the whole thing about, but he lost so and so, his record is so and so in the finals. Well, because people, this is what also drives me crazy is people look at his finals record and they're all like, oh, he lost this many finals. Well, at least he got to the finals for this period of time instead of losing in the earlier rounds. But people dismiss that, and I think that is a stupid narrative that people bring up, and it's a topic that people bring up that gets easily overlooked. But to your point, the finals thing is there's a point to that when you're talking about a roundtable discussion, when you're talking sports, when you're talking about who's great and whatnot. But to LeBron, it doesn't matter because LeBron wants a ring. Or LeBron wants to just he wants to beat the Warriors.
Pass Jordan.
He wants to pass Jordan, and to be able to get those rings, he needs to beat the Warriors.
Yeah. I look at it this way though too. If, like you said, okay, they play them in the Western Conference Finals. It's going to be a grueling battle to get through those Western Conference Finals against them. I think that leaves them more susceptible to be upset in the finals opposed to steamrolling through the East, and then that is the peak that you have to. You don't have to worry about playing somebody after them. If you can get over that hump against Golden State, it's done. You get the chip. As opposed to if you're going 7 games against Golden State.
I guess my thing is just
I get what you're saying, but that's what I was saying.
You're going to have to beat them anyway. No matter what, you're going to have to beat them.
Right.
If you want the ring, you have to beat them. Whether it be in the Western Conference Finals, whether it be in the finals, you have to beat them.
To your point, though, Paul, you said he wants to catch Jordan. He wants the discussion to still be there. Okay, so let's just, even if you don't believe it, the chance of him losing in the second round of the playoffs, that takes him out of that discussion.
It'll be the conference finals.
Okay, but that's not the finals.
I know,
that
but my point
lower.
is it'll be the conference finals.
But
there's no way they'll be the 1 and 2 seeds. So that if that team were to form, them and the Golden State would be the number 1 and number 2 seed without doubt.
But which conference, the Western or the Eastern, is there a better chance where LeBron misses the finals? It's the Western, right?
Sure.
So that's our entire point.
It's hedging his bets much better in the Eastern Conference as far as getting there. And
again,
I know what you were saying.
Yes, we do. It's just.
And
it's off a little bit.
But I stick to that because I how many times have we seen it where teams go in and they have a grueling 7-game series and then they get to the finals and it's not like it's a letdown, but teams are beat up by the time they get there because they expend so much energy in that round before to where I think they're more susceptible to lose to a team that normally they may not lose to.
Here's the thing, though, too. So like, I think I totally understand what you guys are saying, and I get it from our perspective, from us analyzing it. But him as an athlete, as a competitor, I don't think he looks at it like, oh, man, it'll be easier to get through the Eastern Conference. No, I think he just wants to – I don't think he looks at it like that. I don't think that's – and a guy like him who's arguably what are we going to I don't know where we want to put him. If he's the top 2, that's fair.
I say
top 2, at worst, top 3.
Yeah,
if you want to put Wilt Chamberlain in there, maybe he's top 3 all the time.
Yeah.
But my point is, if you're one of the top 3 athletes at your sport ever – you just want to win. Like, you're not looking at it like, this will be easier to get to the finals. No, he's figuring I'm the best. If I team up with these players, we're going to win. That's to me. I think that's his mindset.
He wants a ring.
2 questions for you, and we talk about as he gets older because he's no young guy anymore.
Right.
So, like you said, if you put a Chris Paul, a Paul George on a team, that's going to be a tough team. But you also have to bring into account every year LeBron plays. He's not going to be up top forever. He's
still
not
there right now. He's actually having statistically one of his best seasons.
But
I know what you're saying. He's going to the
signs a long term, and if he's handcuffed,
he's not going to sign a long term with anybody.
Okay, but let's just throw a hypothetical. Say he's on a team in the Western Conference for 3 years. In the last 2 years of that contract, he's not nearly as good. He's on the way down. We put that together, the whole LeBron makes everything better, and it's a lock thing that we have now, and we've always had. That's not the same thing. And then 2, my whole thing is this. When you look at the Eastern Conference, what teams do we say are on the train to taking over the conference? The Celtics with Kyrie.
Absolutely.
And hopefully
the
Sixers, just given the star power and the projections, obviously. So, and I agree with what you said, Charles, on how people are always going to say stuff. And we talk about storylines. And I think LeBron, not knowing the guy, obviously, I think the one thing he does pay attention to is storyline. So say, for example, LeBron left the conference and then Kyrie is dominating. Well, you know what people are going to say? Kyrie chased him out of the Eastern Conference. And you can't tell me they're not going to say that.
And I don't think he would care. I think that'd be the least of his. I think his thought would be his thought would be I'm going. It doesn't matter because I want to win.
And I figured you'd say that, but that's why I put it all in a circle. And I say when you talk about he cares about legacy, he cares about being compared to Jordan. Well, people for years looking back on his career, even if it's false and it's fraudulent for people to say it, they could have the storyline on where he didn't have the success going to another team because it was a harder, conference. He got chased out of a conference due to a former teammate that was on a rising team, and he wasn't compared to Jordan given he didn't win any more finals or as many finals, and he didn't get to the finals because he was in the harder conference.
Here's what I'll say, though, about him caring about narratives. He doesn't, because here's why he does not. Because if he did, why the hell would he have gone to Miami knowing he was going to get crushed for it? And he did. Everything with the decision, he got destroyed.
Part of the reason is because of the spectacle that he put on to start off.
No, it was that, but it was also, you can't win on your own. Jordan won on his own, blah, blah, blah. That was Jordan's team. He stayed in Chicago, blah, 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 blah.
The decision,
he went with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. He teamed up, and they formed a super team, blah, 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 blah.
By the way,
Jordan did that
Jordan
knowing.
went with Scottie Pippen, and by the way,
absolutely.
The last 3 he won with Dennis Rodman. So that was a super team in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. They were a great team. But the point is, he knew he was going to get killed for that.
Okay,
but
he
he
still did
knew
it.
it, and he did it anyway because all he cared about was getting a damn ring on his finger.
Well,
That's
exactly.
all he cared about.
So to your point, he valued getting a ring and people not destroying him for not having a ring over
he cared
people
about a ring. That's it.
Well,
Well, that's my point. He knew he was going to get destroyed either way because he looked in the mirror and he saw what's the probability right now of me winning with this Cavaliers team, and he probably said very little. So he thought to himself probably, and I love how I'm trying to picture what he's thinking, and I have no idea what he's thinking, but in my opinion, he was probably thinking, I'm going to get destroyed either way. If I stay here and I don't win, because everyone knows how great I am and people are going to say I'm underachieving, or I go somewhere and I freaking dominate and I win and I win and I win and I form a team that's mine, that I'm deserving of because I'm the best in the world, hey, I'll sacrifice the public media outrage to get a couple rings because that's what I care about the most.
But that's my that feeds into my point where it's
exactly.
he just doesn't care.
No,
like
he's arguing your point.
he wants
He's giving you your point.
He
That's
wants
exactly
a
my point.
ring.
Yes.
We gotta go to break.
Yeah, we're gonna.
We're gonna
No.
have like a 15 minutes, like a half.
Thanks, Dion.
Dion, that was a great
turned
topic.
into a half
Dion.
an hour
yes,
topic.
it did. But all right, yeah. So guys, we're gonna take a break from the BMW
We will
Atlantic
get back
City
to football
Studios.
talk, I promise.
After the break, we'll get back. We're gonna do a couple things from around the league. Talk MVP, coaching changes, coach of the year, Patriots dynasty ? Ending. We'll see. But yeah. So thank you, Gibson Mayer LLC, certified public accountant, GibsonMayer.com. Sponsor in the first half, guys. We'll check you on the other side.
Woo.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 822-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's Gibson Mayer.
Hey guys, welcome back. Second half of Birds of a Feather here on A2D Radio, live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, BMW of AtlanticCity.com. Also brought to us here by Gibson Mayer LLC, GibsonMayer.com. And second half bought by Stream Smart. Twitter poll question here, brought to you more. I always say Twitter, don't I?
You do.
Poll question.
It's on Twitter, too.
I know. I do this every time. Poll question brought to you from Scanzano Sports, ScanzanoSports.com. What is the biggest key to victory against the Falcons this week in the divisional matchup? Turnovers, physical run game versus the defensive speed, pressure on Matt Ryan, or limiting Julio Jones, or anything else you want to bring to the table. So we're back after a very, very unexpected and heated conversation regarding the Sixers and LeBron James.
What do you mean?
All, which in turn really just talked about it. Ended up being a LeBron James conversation.
We talked about that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I must have missed that one.
I blacked
That
out.
was a good one by
You blacked out this time?
that was
my turn to
yeah,
black out.
we got heel Paulie on that one. That was a good one by Dion. But yeah, so guys, let's get back into the NFL. I did want to address this because she jumped on, and I know we talked about it earlier, but Dottie Eberhardt asked, they have our Eagles as the underdogs. What's our opinion on that? We did address it earlier in the show. Rightfully so. They're the underdogs, I think. But I like the narrative of us being underdogs. I feel like we play better when we're behind the eight ball. I feel like there's more of a sense of urgency, more of something to prove. And I feel like most of the time this year, when there's been a gut check, they've risen to the occasion.
They've kind of had that, we're all we need thing. Like they've had that us against the world mentality really all year.
And I mean, they've had adversity where they've been underdogs when somebody goes down and next man up mentality. So we'll see. A lot of it's going to rest on Nick Foles' shoulders, and we know that. But let's get in. So one of the things we wanted to talk about is, and it actually almost came up earlier, but who should win the MVP? I feel like it's definitely been a week-by-week basis. Now that the regular season is done, I look at it a little bit differently now. Mm-hmm. When you sit back and you look at the numbers, I feel, I thought it was almost automatic Tom Brady because he played the full season. But Brady, I think, down the stretch started to struggle and tail off a little bit.
Yep.
And I don't think he's going to win it, but I don't think it's outside of the realm now that Carson is at least still in the conversation, even more so than Brady. I think now the MVP is Todd Gurley.
Yes.
Without question. But to me, the conversation of is it Brady or Gurley, or what before was it Wentz or Brady, even with Wentz being hurt, and we were talking about guys like Antonio Brown and Gurley as what seemed like a dark horse. Almost seems automatic to me that Gurley wins it, but I still say there's more of a case for Carson than there is for Brady in a full season, to me, where it's Gurley, Carson, then maybe Brady, or if you want to talk about Antonio Brown or any of those guys who made a little bit of a run down the stretch. So I'm going to say Todd Gurley, hands down, no question in my mind that Gurley should be the MVP. But who do you guys have as far as your MVP, or how do you just the whole situation and how it played out? How do you say it?
So you might be surprised. Well, maybe you won't be. I want Todd Gurley to win it because I'm such a running back fan.
Yeah, we know.
And I want a running back to win MVP. I really do. I think Todd Gurley has done enough to show that he should be.
More than enough.
I think the way the voters are going to go is they're going to go with the quarterback again. I really like it. Like deep down, I just have that. I guess you can say kind of like fear. They're just going to automatically say quarterback. It's a quarterback league. Quarterbacks have won it. Even like with the offensive rookie of the year last year, they picked Dak Prescott over Zeke for offensive rookie of the year, and that was a huge joke.
That was only because they gave Zeke offensive player of the year in general.
Yeah. But still. But anyways, I think I believe the voters are going to give it to a quarterback. So I want Gurley to win it, but who do I think will win it? I honestly think it's going to be Wentz because I think that the last few weeks with Brady struggling, I think with Brady struggling, I think that opened the door for Wentz to kind of win it in a way by default. But I'm not betting money on it. I'm not so sure about it because I think numbers-wise, you can still make a good argument for Brady.
Well,
so
I think where the season ended and you look at the numbers, there is definitely an argument for it. So
my thing, to burst that bubble a little bit, I have to be double checked on this, but I'm almost positive that no player has ever won the MVP and missed 3 games in the NFL since they went to a 16-game season. I could be wrong. Please, if someone knows that, please fact check me on it.
I think it's something like that.
I'm almost positive that no one has ever won the MVP missing 3 games in a 16-game season. So as much as it would be awesome, and like I've said before, if he doesn't get hurt, he walks away easily. He easily wins the MVP. But I also do think I want and I think Todd Gurley wins it because, as you alluded to, Chrome, Tom Brady down the stretch did not play well.
No.
Whereas Todd Gurley in his team's 2 biggest games was a monster.
Yeah.
In Seattle, ran all over them. Then in Tennessee to clinch their division, he was a monster. So I think, and not only that, it's a combination of the biggest games of the season, but it's also what sticks out in voters' mind, and it's the what have you done for me lately. So everyone's last impression of Todd Gurley is of him dominating.
Right.
So to me, I want it, and I think it will be Todd Gurley.
But to that argument, talking about what fans remember, does that make a better case for Carson? Because not only did he have leading quarterback numbers with 3 games still on the table that he didn't finish, but then to see how the Eagles played
without him
after Wentz, does that make a stronger case for Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
I think he gets votes. I don't think I just don't think he gets it. I just think him missing 3 games is just too. It's just like maybe if he misses. I know that sounds stupid, but like maybe if he misses 2 games
it makes
and not 3.
No, and
but agree. I can't see them give it to. Not to say that it's right, but and I hear it's a great point because you look at how terrible they were when he was gone, and you look at how great he was when he was in there.
And not even just that. You're talking about. And again, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but then you look at the 3 games that were on the schedule too. Like they played all their toughest games with Wentz in the lineup, it was for the most part it was throwaway games against teams that weren't very good.
If he would have
down the stretch,
he would have destroyed the Giants and he would have destroyed the Raiders.
You're not talking about we still won games without him against good teams. We're talking about teams that really were not even in the conversation Dallas maybe up until the final week, but that game didn't matter. So again,
he wouldn't have been playing anyway.
If you're looking at the whole scenario of it, and I want to get Ryan's opinion on it, do you think that plays into his favor, knowing that they played their toughest games with Carson in the lineup?
Well, I think yes, absolutely. And to continue on that, if there's any Wentz doubters out there that aren't just trolls, just look at Vegas. Look at how they have this game going against the Falcons.
7-point
That's
swing.
telling you the value of Carson Wentz. That's telling you that he's a big factor. He's a huge factor. And I remember we talked about this. I think it was right after Foles had a very good game against the Giants, or a much better game than he had the following 2 games.
Right.
And we talked about, and I brought up, if Nick Foles continues to play this well, is that going to hurt Carson's value?
Yeah.
And obviously we see that he didn't. It was the exact opposite. And it proves, I think it actually helped Carson's value. Now, to me, when you put it all together and you ask who the MVP is going to be, I put on one of the posts like last week on A2D, and I put 3 things. I said, would have been Carson Wentz, should be Todd Gurley, will be Tom Brady. I think that is absolutely going to happen just because the MVP award, as much as I don't think it should be, it's for the most part a quarterback award.
Yes,
it is,
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
Now, and 2, people were trying to say, in the playoffs, after this weekend, they were saying, oh, well, this shows that quarterbacks are more important than running backs. Obviously, we knew that already, so I don't even know why they were saying it. And they were saying,
do we know that? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
That's true.
I'm kidding.
That's true. So I think Tom Brady's going to get it just because for whatever reason, it's a quarterback award. And I understand. That's the most important position in all of sports. There's no questioning that. But when you see Todd Gurley, and what you guys exactly said is absolutely correct on how he rose up in the biggest moments, I'll just ask you, am I outlandish for saying if you take Todd Gurley off this team, I'm not guaranteeing it, are they a playoff team?
No way.
Because
Nope.
just on those 2 games.
Nope.
I'll guarantee it. No way.
Because if Todd Gurley doesn't have those performances in those 2 games, they're not winning the division.
Yeah.
That means the Seahawks
You're
are in.
absolutely right.
And
Yep.
2, then you have to worry about the Falcons. You are literally in the exact same position as the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks didn't get in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't even talk. Then we have to bring up, how valuable was Todd Gurley to a young quarterback in Jared Goff?
Yeah.
Taking the pressure off
Yeah.
of a young quarterback,
Yep.
Jared
Yep.
Goff.
But the
Yep,
other
exactly.
thing,
So-
the
So
other
I
thing I
just-
look at too, though, is it's writers, it's the media and all that who voted on these things, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you look at it, and even just to see the narrative that was put in by the media, by the writers, this team before Carson got hurt, they looked at the whole team and said, man, this team is stacked, all sides of the ball, this and that. Now Carson's hurt, and you said it earlier, they're considered the most overrated number 1 team of all time.
They currently talk about Vegas
and
said
this and that. So
The
I'm
longest
looking at the
odds to make the
media,
Super Bowl.
and does the media look at it now and look at themselves and say, you know what? That guy is a damn good player, and he has done things in this league this year that other guys haven't, and it's showing now.
Well, Renee makes a great point over here. She says, I watched a video earlier that makes sense. If Wentz wasn't hurt, we would be Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah.
But without him, we are underdogs almost every playoff game moving forward,
Yeah.
so that absolutely makes him the MVP.
And
I
that's
think
what it's supposed to be about. The guy who, MVPs, I feel like in a very rare occasion it's happened, but it should always, it hasn't happened, I should say, but it should always be a guy, you should be a playoff team. And B, it's the guy who makes the most difference in any sport, baseball, whether it's on the mound, behind, in the batter's box, in basketball, it's the guy who, makes everybody around him better. It should always be the guy who makes the most impact on his team. And I know, and puts the numbers, has the numbers to back it up. There's nobody with the exception of Todd Gurley, in the league this year on a week-in, week-out basis that has even come close to a sniff of what Carson did for
my
this
argument,
team. Even
go
Brady.
first.
Even Brady.
Mm-hmm. So, two things. One, to amend what I said earlier, this is Dave Zangaro from NBC Sports wrote this. This is like they were making a case for MVP after he tore his ACL. The last time an NFL MVP played just 13 or fewer games was 1989 when Joe Montana won his first of two straight.
Which
Since then,
Chris Lyons actually put Joe Montana won the award in 1989.
that was 1989.
I know.
Yeah.
Since then, of the 29 MVPs, all 29 have played at least 14 games, and 23 of them have played all 16.
It's an argument.
So there's that. But then the other thing I would say, and I agree with most of what you said, Ryan. But the one thing I would say is like right now, who's the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now? It's the Patriots, right? If Tom Brady were to get hurt and Brian Hoyer were playing, they'd have the least. But I get what you're saying. But I'm just saying, like, if you took away any team's most valuable player, their odds would
I think
come crashing down.
For the MVP, the way when you're talking about criteria for the MVP, I think it comes down to this. This is how I believe. This is how a lot of certain media people that I listen to, they do something like this. Which single player was the biggest storyline of the season? And if you ask a lot of people, the biggest storyline, like single player wise, was Carson Wentz. That's why I think he will. Do I think he will win it? I'm not 100% sure. But I think, again, if we're narrowing it down between the two quarterbacks, and I'm not including Gurley, unfortunately, because I do think it's going to be a quarterback. If you're talking about between Wentz and Brady, I think Brady does fall into the trap of he's been here. He's done it. It's an old storyline.
Voter fatigue.
Voter fatigue. Yes. Thank you. So they're gonna the.
But you also get a
the
lot of
story
the popularity contest stuff
Yeah.
too, and I could tell you
that is true. That is true.
Legacy
but what I'm
votes.
saying, but what I'm saying is that's why I think Wentz still has a good case or good chance is because. In terms of those two players, the bigger storyline this season was Carson
and that's
Wentz.
why I thought this was a really good – because, I mean, I just really sat back this week and I thought about it, and I'm like, his case is a lot better when you really break it down and look at it. And like I said, it's with all the media stuff and this week and now they're knocking the whole team and everything. Carson Wentz, that makes his case even better for MVP in my eyes.
I agree with you. Two things on that, and to burst the bubble again – when you talk about, the first team, second team awards, I personally think the fact that Carson got second team dramatically hurts his case. Not hurts his case, but it showed as soon as I saw that. I'm not going to say it's 100% that he doesn't win it, but if you ask me in 30 seconds, I might say there's a 100% chance Carson Wentz is not winning it just based off of how he lost it to Tom Brady. He's not, Tom Brady beat him out.
And in my eyes, that's more of, like you said, it's the legacy. It's because it's Tom Brady. And that's bullshit in my eyes. But
I completely agree with you. And the second thing on what you said, Paul, on how if you took Tom Brady off of the team, they crash and burn. We said the same thing with Todd Gurley. So I agree with everything you said. But that's why I think they were so close at the beginning of September, Gurley and Brady. Sure. So then what does it come down to? If we can both agree that without Todd Gurley on the Rams and the Patriots Tom Brady on the Patriots, both of those teams crash and burn. So then we decided on who played better the last month. And to me, it's a landslide. Todd Gurley did.
Easily. I agree. I mean, I don't think any of us are going to dispute that. He should be the MVP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know that he's going to win it. And if it's a case of the quarterback position, it should be Carson. I don't care that he played 13 games. Will it be him? Probably not. So it's going to be Tom Brady, and to me, that's bullshit.
Ryan actually brought up the best point. I don't have the number. I was trying to look it up while you were talking. I can't remember how many years it's been, but the All-Pro, first team All-Pro quarterback has won the MVP like
9 out of the last 10 years.
There it is.
All right, I'm swayed.
It's not.
I'm swayed.
Not ideal.
Because when you look at the All-Pro voting All-Pro voting comes down to writers.
Mm-hmm.
The Pro Bowl voting comes down to players and fans, for the most part. So the same people. Well, I don't know if it's the same exact people, but you have generally the same. It's the media that's voting for the MVP. So I mean that's a good point. I think you guys pretty much swayed me. I think okay then it'll be Tom Brady. But I really want it to be Gurley.
I was gonna say I feel like I'm sorry. Like I'm still thinking it's Gurley. I gotta. I
hope it's Gurley.
I think it's gonna be Gurley.
I think it's gonna be Gurley.
I will be jumping up and down if it's Gurley because
I think he beats Brady out. I do.
Yeah, I hope so.
Dumb question. When do we find out?
NFL honors the Saturday before the Super Bowl.
Or Super Bowl.
NFL honors award.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's the week of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
So speaking
Super Bowl.
speaking of Tom Brady,
Isn't that the week of Super Bowl?
Well, you said the bye week.
No, it's the Saturday before the Super Bowl.
So it's
You're
the day
right.
before.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
he's right. Yep, absolutely. You're
so-
100% right.
So
Yep.
speaking of Tom Brady,
Yeah, here we go. Hold on. Can I get to the
Yes,
YouTube
yes,
comments?
absolutely.
We got a whole bunch. Sorry, I didn't forget you guys. So we got Renee that right before we got into break. We got Renee chimed in, said, "What's up to everyone?"
hey Renee,
Hey, Renee.
She's awesome.
I love Renee.
They were talking about Nick Wright and everything in media counting out the
Who?
counting out
Does he count?
the Eagles.
That's the dumbest.
There's a
son of
lot.
bitch.
They have a Ryan knows he read it. They had a good chat going on. Then I'm gonna skip ahead.
Talk about a guy just saying shit to see if it sticks. Like
I know, he knows nothing.
I got nothing to
let's
say
start with
about
this.
him.
No.
Renee, let's start here. Renee says, it would be nice. So sick of seeing the Pats in the Super Bowl. Call me a hater or whatever you want. Only way I want to see them back in is if we play them with Wentz. I wish it was this year.
Looks like it should be.
Andrew
Damn it. Every time I think of it, it just makes me angry. You know what I mean?
Like, so damn clutch says that would have been such a good story. Let's be honest though, Wentz would have sat that last game anyway. I think he's talking about the MVP thing. Alexander Verrucci says Todd Gurley sat out last game, so he only has 2 more games than Wentz. Renee comes back, says, I got mad love for Andy. He was our soldier for so long, and we had good years with him. But I feel bad for the Chiefs because I see a repeat of what we had here. Closest, get there, lose.
Not a repeat because we at least got to
the
conference
Super Bowl,
championships and Super
Super
Bowls.
To the point, real quick, Charles, on how I forget who said it. I don't know if it was so damn clutch. He had said, or whoever said it, said that Todd Gurley sat out the last game. And I'm not saying that they're saying this, but he shouldn't be penalized or punished because of that because it shows how good the team was. Like just because Bill Belichick is an animal and played Tom Brady, it doesn't mean that you should reward him. You know what I mean?
And as big as my man crush is for Kareem Hunt, logically he finishes as the leading rusher, but everyone knows it would have been Todd Gurley had Gurley played. Alexander Verrucci comes back and says, I think it was Carson, Brady, and AB who was in it, and Russell. AB got hurt. Brady threw 5 TDs and 4 interceptions. Russell fell off. So to me, it's Carson and Gurley sat out the last game. Could be a homer. So damn clutch.
It's okay to be a homer. It's okay to want. Like it's okay to want. Like I get it. Like you want Carson. As a person who just covers the team, like sometimes I just want him. Like I would love. It would have been great. Like he deserved it. He would have ran away with it.
It's been a while since we've had the opportunity to even have this conversation, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
Like it's okay.
We'll have this conversation.
It's okay to be a little bit of a homer on it. I get it. I totally get it.
So damn clutch says, I feel as though the voters will take our next games into account. Like if we're able to still win these next 2 without Carson, it'll hurt his MVP chances.
It's already voted, isn't it?
Yeah,
they already put the votes in. They vote at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's already voted.
Okay.
And any MVP in any sport, they vote at the end of the season.
So
the votes have already been.
Because they don't want people to look at that. They don't want people to look at it.
So their votes are already in.
Here we go. I've been waiting for this guy. David Rosca.
David Rosca. What's up, buddy?
What's up, boys? Pissed. Ticked off. My Rams were out. Eagles will beat Falcons. Hey, man. It was a good season.
You know what I love about David Rosca? I don't even know if you know this. David Rosca chimed in on Lazy Booking and failed to mention the Rams. And I called him out on it. I called him out on it. I'm like, dude.
How about the Chargers? Did you mention the Chargers?
No, he mentioned nothing. He talked wrestling.
And I'm like, talking about Alexa Bliss or something.
He
brought up Mandy Rose.
He
That's
brought up
who
Mandy
it was.
Rose, which was not bad.
No.
But it's okay to throw your Rams thing in there first.
Hey, but listen, he's got a lot to be happy about, man. A lot to be excited about, man. He's got a good young quarterback. He's got, in our opinion, the MVP of the NFL. He's got a damn good head coach.
Yeah.
Arguably the best defensive player in the NFL.
Yeah, they're a team on
Yeah.
the
A
rise
lot
for
to
a
be
long
excited
time.
about if you're a Rams fan.
Almost caught up. So J-Hot 24/7. Been waiting for this guy too. Falcons win a wild card round, and all of a sudden there's this bullshit resurgence of former glory. Matt Ryan is getting his shit pushed in on Saturday. I just hope that locker room is privy to the disrespect and underdog status that's been shined on this team. I hope it fuels them. That D-line is going to maul them.
I hope I 1,000% agree with him too, because a week before this, everybody wanted to play the Falcons. Everybody thought that the Falcons were the joke coming in. They have one good frigging game, and all of a sudden now the Falcons are they're the hot team coming in now.
So
I'm just saying this is the narrative that has been put out there, not just from us here at A2D. Anywhere you read it, the Falcons were the team that almost seemed like the least deserving of every team that was in there.
and
and
now
now
six seed, so I mean that's kind of fair.
But I'm saying, like, people said that nobody they didn't have any business even being in there because they didn't play even up to par what their record showed.
I think it's,
but yet now they're the team that they're going to knock off the number one seed. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be favored in this game, but I'm saying like that people are making them out to be like this juggernaut that's going to blow through the Eagles. I don't see it
that's
happen.
silly. Yeah.
I think it's more so because of Nick Foles. I think because of his bad play. I think that's
point.
If Nick Foles had played even a little bit better, like adequately the last two games, I think that this
Chris
whole
Ryan's
thing.
fuck Matt Ryan. Yeah, I'm with you.
I agree.
I like Matt Ryan, but not right now. Fuck Matt Ryan. I'm with you.
Well, it's so funny, and I don't like name dropping on these shows because they don't deserve it. But Jesus Christ, Colin Cowherd, you spent the entire freaking season ripping Matt Ryan to shreds, calling him basically Andy Dalton. That's what he did, saying he's underachieved and all that. And a lot of what he said, I'd agreed with. I'm like, finally, Colin Cowherd speaking some knowledge, finally. And you know how he opens up his show the other day?
Of course.
Matt Ryan, man. Matt Ryan, he can prove that this is his time. Like, really? Just because he won a playoff game against a young team that was clearly 1 year away, he's God now. Stop.
So I think, like everything else in the world, it's somewhere in the middle of all this is where it actually is.
Yep.
Were the Falcons the best matchup for the Eagles out of all the teams in the NFC? 100% yes. Does that mean that they're going to beat the Falcons? Not necessarily.
No, I agree.
And it's, you know what? It's funny because like I don't. And I just said it earlier that of course I'm going to take Matt Ryan over Nick Foles every day of the week, but it's not like Matt Ryan did anything insane. He didn't carve up the Rams or anything. Yeah. He played well. He made some.
But you would
he
never
made the
know
plays.
it from what's being said.
I hear you. He made the plays he needed to make. Like I said, that one throw to Julio was ridiculous. There's only probably a handful of quarterbacks that can actually make that throw. But overall, he didn't have like this. He didn't throw for like 5 touchdowns or anything. He had a solid game. He made enough plays for them to win.
You would think this is Matt Ryan as Tom Brady going against Nick Foles as Tim Tebow, and they're going to absolutely just steamroll everything. That's the way it's being made out to be. Yeah. And it's absolutely ludicrous.
It's somewhere, like I said, with everything else, it's somewhere in the middle.
My main criticism of Matt Ryan over the last few years has always been, because we can say he's a top 10 quarterback, or at least in the conversation. Absolutely,
around there.
Yes. There's no question he's a
I'd
top
say
10 in
around
this
there.
league right now.
With that being said, I still believe he has vastly underachieved with what's around him.
I agree.
If you look at the wide receiver combination of Mohamed Sanu and Julio Jones, and you look at the running backs that he has to take pressure off of him, and I mean their offensive line isn't hideous, their defense is fine. They don't cause turnovers, but they're still good. You look at that and you put it all together, I think he's underachieved.
I'll say I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I will say this. They had a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl.
Yes, they did.
That is not Matt Ryan's fault that his defense blew a 25-point lead.
Yeah. No,
and
you're right.
It's don't get their offense went stagnant, and part of that is because and Kyle Shanahan's a fantastic coach. He's done a phenomenal job with the 49ers. Yeah. I think he's a coach on the rise, but he had a terrible second half in that game.
Yeah, he did.
Devontae Freeman was going to run away with the Super Bowl MVP in that game, and he just went away from it. He pulled an Andy Reid.
It was my pick.
He pulled a full-on Andy Reid, completely went away from the guy who was tearing up the Patriots defense. And so, in my mind, I don't disagree with you. He has underachieved, but he should have a damn ring in his. He should have a damn ring in his mantle right now. He should have it.
Did you guys give predictions for the game, for the Eagles-Falcons game?
No.
Oh, no. You want to do it?
No one
Or
wants-
we'll do it at the end.
No one wants mine.
I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
Let's do it at the end.
No,
Let's do it at the
Let's
end.
start out with Heel Paul first. What do you got?
All right, we'll do it now. Okay.
Well, we have, I think, you guys have 5 minutes or something? I think we are at the
Yeah, we're at
Yeah,
the
we're
end.
winding
down.
So
We are
let's just kind of do it.
Oh, no New England talk. Damn. Okay, go
I
ahead.
know my prospect. I guess my prospect gets shut out too. Whatever, guys.
No, we'll get your
No.
prospect in. Go.
Yeah,
No,
we
but
need to extend 5 minutes.
So my
We'll do 5 so we get that in.
if I'm gonna predict, oh, man, I'm sorry, guys. 21-17 Falcons.
Wow, high scoring.
21 points.
Well, a lot more.
I don't
than
think
that.
there's going to be
I-
much scoring here.
21-17. I just don't. I think, like I said, I don't see Matt Ryan coming into the link and putting up 300 yards and throwing for 4 touchdowns. But I think he will make enough plays to win the game. He'll make enough plays. The Eagles will get a lot of pressure on them. They're gonna, for the most part, shut down Atlanta's running game. But I just don't think they can. I don't think they can overcome having Nick Foles at quarterback.
I'm going to be the guy. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but I'm not far off from you. I'm going to kind of flip it. I'm saying 23-16 Eagles. I think they're going to get enough pressure on them. I think Foles, maybe not even Foles. Maybe I'm very optimistic about the running game coming in this week, and I think that's going to be a difference maker for the offense that will give Foles enough opportunity to make enough plays. I'm looking at it 23-16 Eagles.
Let's go. I'm going to say 20-13 Eagles.
Okay.
Wow. All right, guys.
I think I have this feeling that this defense after 2 weeks, and with everything that's been said in the media and how fired up they're going to be, I really think they're going to dominate that Falcons offense. I think the Falcons get 1 touchdown. They move the ball, but I think that this defense creates numerous turnovers. I think at least 2, and then it's just a matter of. I think it's just a matter of our offense. Can they put up enough points? I think if they run the ball and they commit to that run enough where it's a bounce offense, they don't commit turnovers, I think 20 points isn't out of the question.
Well, I thought the point that they made in last night's show was good. It's going to be a race to 20.
Yeah.
That was what the guys said last
Yeah.
night on the show, Sports Hounds. I agree with that. Race
That's
to
a fair
20.
race, yeah.
I think the Eagles are going to be the first one to get there.
I hear what you're saying about having a balanced attack, and it's key for any team for any game. But they are going to load that box up all game because they are going to dare Nick Foles to beat them.
Which is
all
where he
game
needs to.
long.
Which is where he needs to make those certain plays. He needs to make enough throws where they can't just load the box every single time.
Right.
He needs to make them say,
That's what I'm
okay,
saying. So early on,
earlier on, yeah, they're gonna.
So I'm just saying, like the ratio early on might look bad because Doug is going to see, hey, we got a full box here.
Well,
so
the plays are gonna be scripted.
Well, first 15, right.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if right off the gate, the Eagles come out conservative because I think with the defense coming out fast and really, really wired, and I think the defense are going to do their job. I think if Doug P is smart, which I think he is, I think he's going to come out conservative so that he doesn't put Foles in a position where he turns the ball over and then all of a sudden after the first quarter we're down 10-0. I think it's going to be conservative with the game script to start, but then I think if the Falcons load the box like you said, I think that's where Nick Foles has to show he can make the throws in with the box loaded to eke pressure off of the running game.
I want to hear what Ryan's got here.
Well, you mentioned it's a race to 20, right? How about a race to 21? I'm going to go 21-20 Eagles.
Oh, I like it.
okay.
You really want me to have a heart attack, don't you?
Oh,
21-20.
Listen,
If
I
Ryan-
will be
Ryan,
on the floor.
All I'm asking, Ryan, is if it's a game that's that close, I want to see more videos of you screaming from the upstairs. It sounds like you're screaming into the
remember
phone.
how I showed you that video that for
That's what
good
I'm
reason
referencing.
wasn't released on the website
Yes.
just to protect some things?
That's
you
what
know
I'm
I mean?
referencing, yes.
If I survive this game, that'll be a miracle in itself.
I might
I
be
better
on
see
this
a-
show by myself next Tuesday.
I better see a 1-minute Ryan Brodo video if they win this game in
Oh,
a
I'll be
close
sobbing.
game like that.
I'll be sobbing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you the scenario, too, because obviously it's like 21-20. How the hell did that game finish off? It's going to come down to Matt Ryan's going to have to come down the field, and we're all going to be thinking, we're
you're
going to
gonna
lose
do
by a
this to me.
field goal just
You're
like
gonna
they
do
did in
this to me.
2013.
You're going to do this to
And
me.
you know
I
what's going
swear
to happen?
God.
Matty Ice is going to throw a game-losing interception from the 50-yard line to the player of the game, Ronald Darby.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going
like
to
this
I
go
think
specific
Darby's
I'm
going
going
to
to
step
go
up
nuts.
this week. I don't know if he's going to be the player of the game, but I
Can
think
Ronald Darby channel
I think
Asante
Darby's gonna
Samuel?
step up.
So-
Can
I
he
hope
come
so.
out with playoff?
I hope so.
playoff
Because the
clinching
thing
interceptions?
that Ronald Darby, even in his worst games, he has shown that he can get an interception
Exactly.
in the biggest times. He needs to
Exactly.
do it one more time for me.
I need to do it several times.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice, too. Yeah, it shouldn't. I actually don't want it to come down to 21-20. I want it to be like 21-0. That'd be wonderful.
God bless all your hearts and your optimism, and I
Here we
hope they
go.
win.
Here we go.
And I hope they win. I hope they win.
he hopes they win. He hopes we get LeBron next year.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
I just gotta listen. Someone's gotta rein you guys in a little
Be
bit.
realistic. I'm
Someone's
sorry.
gotta listen. No, and I don't want to that's I don't want to that's you guys are it's a fan thing. It's cool. It's awesome. You should be absolutely
I'll put it
There's
this way.
nothing wrong
okay,
with that.
I'll
It's
put
just-
it this way. If we win and we face the Vikings, we lose to the Vikings. Unless Nick Foles comes out
Let's
firing.
not even
No, no,
get to there.
by
yet.
next
We're not
by
there
next
yet.
Tuesday.
No.
If they win by
Save
next
that.
Tuesday, I guarantee you he's talking about them.
I
beating
know.
the Vikings.
Unless Nick Foles comes out and scores 4 touchdowns.
Listen, we're not-
against the Falcons.
Yeah, let's
I'm
worry.
just
We're
gonna
not-
say-
we're not
but I'm
looking
just-
ahead.
My point is, I'm from my point of view. People can be like, "Oh, look, Rainian, you're being a homer."
Vikings
I
still
don't
gotta beat
think
the Saints, too.
I'm looking at the rosters matchup wise, and I think the Eagles matchup wise, like I always have all season matchup. If I'm looking at the rosters, I think they have a good chance. I think they should be the slight favorites. That's why I picked them to win the game.
I got you.
So TTB Bowling puts in 17-13 Birds. So Damn Glutch says 24-21 Eagles.
Chris-
Aguilar player of the game. And then So Damn Glutch asked me, he said, hey, Ryan, when do you guys do the fix? Tomorrow at 6.
Yeah.
Cheap plug.
Check
Hashtag
them
cheap
out
plug.
tomorrow and AM and the PM tomorrow. Chris Lyons puts 51-2 Eagles.
Yes, I will.
Yes!
I might not survive that because I'll be
man.
out a window. I'll be going out a window in excitement.
I might
love
feel
it.
like they expense everything in one shot and have nothing left for the following
Right,
week.
right. If your scenario plays out, I'm running in the streets, streaking outside of 814.
Also,
I'm
can
telling
I
you.
say I have to be optimistic because I have tickets for the NFC Championship. So I want to go. I want to be sitting in that crowd.
And I'll say this tomorrow.
I get
I've been
it.
saying it for 2 weeks now. If the football gods are hearing me right now, in a year where they've taken so much away from us, just give us one. You don't have to
Playoff
give us
win.
everything. I'll settle. I just take one. You understand me? Just give me a day of celebration.
Absolutely.
Then we'll somber again. That's fine. Just give us
Oh
one
my
day.
God.
Absolutely. Christine Sorling says Eagles will show up. Eagles will find a way with a bunch of hearts and happy faces. I agree. We're going to get off soon. I want you to get in your prospect of the week. We'll go Patriots next week. That's fine. We can talk about that anytime.
Yeah, we can talk about
I want you to get in your – because I love this prospect of the week. And for
Yeah,
a lot of us
I like it.
who don't know the players, this is the guy to listen to. So who do you got this week for us?
So if any of you watched the national championship game, which first of all, what a hell of a game that was!
Great game.
Phenomenal. I know, right? Because
I wanted Georgia. I hate Nick
Dude, I
Saban
thought Georgia
so
had it.
much.
I was
As
rooting for
a
Georgia.
guy who the Dolphins are my AFC team, I loved when they hired Saban, and he was such an awful coach for them.
And he bailed.
And then he just shit on them, picked up, and left.
he bailed.
Basically took a dump on their chest and left. I hate him so much now. I really wanted this to be the year where Georgia took him down and
It was.
took
I
it
thought it was
away
gonna happen,
from
man.
me.
It's funny because going in the game, I thought to myself, "There's no way Georgia can win this." And then I thought, then when I was watching the game, I'm like, "Wow, Georgia's really taking it to them. They're going to win this game."
They should have.
Yeah,
They should have.
It's insane. You got to give it to Saban, man. That's a gutsy call.
Well, what I'm-
put in a
He has-
true
he's got
freshman
balls.
quarterback.
He's got
that
balls.
didn't
Well,
take
what
a
I-
snap. Like, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
What I'm
he's
what
got
I'm
balls.
what I'm
Insane.
hoping is that my sports disappointments are now already done for the week, and now it's just positivity going forward. Who do you got for
All
us?
right, so I'm actually going to cheat and pick two guys.
That's cool.
For the winning team from Alabama.
Okay.
fine.
So one would be Deron Payne, who was their defensive tackle, who, if you watched the game last night, pretty much lived in the Georgia backfield. He's a guy that kind of has underachieved a little bit, you would say, at Alabama, but he was playing behind some really great players, behind Jonathan Allen and Dalvin Tomlinson and guys like that who are now in the NFL. He's probably going to be a late first, early second round guy. So maybe with the Eagles' late first round pick, it could be a guy they look at. It is a deep position, obviously, for the Eagles, so it's probably not a situation. But then again, they like to rotate, and if you have a guy like him behind Fletcher Cox and Tim Jernigan, holy crap, that's a lot of firepower coming up the middle of the field. Then the other guy who I think is kind of a sleeper, not a sleeper in the sense of as a pick for the Eagles, Calvin Ridley, the wide receiver from Alabama. He has been – I've seen him in projections going in the 20s, which if that's the case, that is a steal in the 20s. This guy, he's 6'1", he's around 200, but he can fly. He's got great hands. He's quick. He runs the best routes of any receiver in this draft, and he would be a phenomenal complement to Alshon Jeffrey because he complements what he does so well. And if you have Alshon on one side, Ridley on the other, Aguilar in the slot – Ertz,
That's crazy.
Could this be the guy who takes Torrey Smith's spot?
If you draft Calvin Ridley, Torrey Smith's gone.
Yeah.
Torrey Smith might be gone anyway, but if he is, but
I'm saying like this is the guy that could be like our deep. I know you said he runs great
He's
routes, but he
everything.
could be our deep ball.
he's everything.
All
He
right,
can
good.
run. He
I like it.
He can take the top off a defense. He runs intermediate routes. He's not afraid to go over the
You
middle.
convinced me. That's
He's
who I
got
want to
good
draft.
hands.
I don't even
Oh,
give a
God.
shit who anybody else he says. That's who I want.
Whatever happened to tackle.
But I will say this, that somebody who I trust told me that they believe Jason Peters will be back next year, and he will be playing tackle for the Eagles. So if that's the case,
You could hold off on him.
I would say if Ridley would be my pick just because of the value, because I think he's so good that if he somehow falls there, you have to consider it.
Gotcha.
But if they do, there's plenty of tackles. I've talked about a couple tackles on the show, guys that I really like. So I still think tackles definitely a possibility because Peters ain't getting any younger.
Right.
And if he gets hurt again, God forbid next year, I don't want to rely on Vitae again because that's going to be my biggest fear. He's
I hear you.
like no matter what, Vitae's my biggest fear going into every game going forward. If they keep winning, Vitae's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
But so those are my two guys: Deron Payne from Alabama and Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, Alabama.
And real quick.
No. Go ahead.
Real quick, since we're on Alabama, I just want to throw out there Damian Harris, who I
like Damian Harris, too.
I started scout like before we traded for Ajayi. I was looking into a couple of running backs. Damian Harris was one of them, and it's funny because right when I tuned out for a little bit of the game, and then I turned back in the third quarter, or was it early fourth? It might have been early fourth, and Damian Harris caught a pass, and Kirk Herbstreit goes, Damian Harris, he reminds me a lot of Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
And I had made that exact
There you
comparison
go.
months ago. I was like, it's so funny because isn't Mark Ingram, didn't he go to
Alabama,
yeah. So, but like literally, I think their games compare almost identically.
I think he's
really
actually already a better pass receiver than Ingram was.
Yeah, you can make that.
out.
Yeah. I think I
Better in
think Ingram
pass protection,
developed.
too.
I think developed right now. In terms of the passing game, I think they're about equal. But their
Similar
stature,
games.
similar games. I think Damian Harris second. I'd say second, third round.
This running back
Running
class,
back.
for the record, stupid, crazy, deep.
Yes,
Even
you
deeper
can
than
grab
last
I'm
year.
somebody probably
already
later,
having
man.
so much
Yeah.
fun.
So on YouTube, Carlos the Realist, who he's a Falcons fan, chiming in, and he's
I read that.
Yeah,
Hey,
he's being
Carlos.
classy about it too, which I
his,
love. Yeah.
His comment was good.
Yeah, it
His
was
comment
really good. He was basically, Charles, you read it. You're on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. He just
you read
said,
it.
he started out by saying, Carlos the Realist says, you guys are definitely going to make it tough for us, but I like the Falcons to take care of you guys 20-17. That defense is very fast and good. You guys, Poe and Grady Jarrett is doing a great job up the middle, which is
Poe.
very, very true.
Yeah.
He continues to say, if Philadelphia able to control the clock with the run game, you guys will win. Good luck on Saturday. Rise up, baby. Go Falcons.
So
it's good.
Classy.
It's a very. It's a very.
Hey man, we appreciate that. That's a real fan, man, and good luck to you guys too. It's going to be a good game.
So TTB balling though,
Oh,
and this
God,
is
here
what
we
I was
go.
laughing at. And I think he's kidding because TTB is a long listener of A2D.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
Oh,
knows
did he
what he's
really
talking
say
about.
this?
That and the YouTube. Realists, I guess, they're panicking and they're turning on TTP, who's a fan favorite. I mean, he's right.
TTP, don't do it.
So
no.
TTP
Heal
said,
TTP.
he said, trade Wentz for Barkley.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
So Damn Clutch said, TTP balling, you better be talking about Charles Barkley. And then Todd Womack, what's going on, Todd? He said, TTP, what are you smoking? Renee said, TTP, put the pipe down now.
Oh my God, Paulie, I can't wait for draft season. I'm already excited because I've started looking at Barkley and Geis, and there's a really good You start
Dude,
looking
they're
at Geis, they're closer than you would think.
There's-
But Barkley is an
Barkley's-
athletic freak.
Barkley's Bo
so
Jackson, dude. He's
that'll
the
be
closest
fun,
thing I've
yeah.
seen of Bo Jackson since Bo Jackson. But, dude, there's guys from LSU. There's both Georgia backs,
Yes.
Michelle and Chubb.
Michelle and Chubb.
There's
I loved Michelle.
It's the class is insane this
It's
year.
really good, and it's exciting. 2 years in a row. Two
Yep.
great road
The
games.
kid from Auburn, Kerryon Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, so many.
The last question I have for you guys, because we have about 4 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up.
So my question is, and you saw me do a mini rant on it yesterday, Charles.
Yeah.
And I told you it could have been a 9-minute thing, and I'll
Yeah.
I'll save a lot of it for tomorrow. But in your opinion, guys, what do you guys think of people going out? And it's a group. It's not just one guy. That's why I brought it up. People going out on Facebook and Twitter and trying to create the narrative that if the Eagles lose against the Falcons this Saturday, then this entire season will be a complete waste of time. What would you say to
Utter
that?
bullshit. It's utter
nah.
bullshit. Sorry, excuse my French, but anyone that's saying that needs to just
Sorry, Charles,
just stop. They need to just stop. Guys, I'm always the one that's saying just because you don't win a Super Bowl doesn't mean that the season was meaningless. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Only 1 out of 32 teams wins it. There's a progression that you have to make sometimes when you're a young team and building. And I think going into this season, we all projected 8-8, 9-7, 10-6, right?
Yep.
But the most important thing, majority of the fan base wanted was progression in Carson Wentz. That was the top thing.
Not just
What
Carson
else?
Wentz,
But
Doug Peterson.
And Doug Peterson too. But if
tired
you just want to stick with one priority, it was Carson Wentz's development. Guys, he was an MVP favorite until he got hurt. So how is that a waste of the season?
No, and
any narrative that narrative, that storyline, if the radio 97.5, the Fanatic, WIP, any fans that want to call and say that, just stop right now. Turn in your fan card because that pisses me off. That really does piss me off.
But there's no such. It's not a wasted season. Again, we were never even supposed to be here to begin with, and what we showed, like I said, what you got out of this season, Doug Peterson. You wanted to see Doug Peterson prove himself more as a head coach. I think he's done so. You wanted to see Carson progress. And not only that, you wanted to see other guys develop. Look what you got out of Aguilar this year.
Aguilar. Oh, my God.
Look what you and
you
now
got your franchise
not only
running
that,
back.
Now you have a
potentially.
franchise running back to add to him.
Yeah.
You saw another great season out of Zach Ertz.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much positivity. And then the defensive end. We saw progression with the secondary. You saw your front you saw your defensive line prove that they're solidified and they're going to be tough for the years to come. I think, if anything, for a team that wasn't even expected at best to maybe slide in as a 6 in the wild card, I feel like it's not. I want to see them win a playoff game. I feel like a playoff game would really solidify that it's not a wasted, but it's not a wasted season.
No, it's not.
By any means. You got a lot out of this team, and what they showed is not only their force this year, they're going to be a force for years to come.
Exactly.
And that we're much further in the process than what we even knew we were
TTP.
as far as development.
So, Ryan,
Yeah.
were these people you were friends with on Facebook or people you follow? Who was this?
Well, no, there was one guy who I've sent numerous texts to being like, are you out of your effing mind?
Yeah, well, no, because my point is,
I've heard this a lot.
Can you
I
call
think-
them out?
I
Can
think-
you say their names?
No,
No.
we're not going to call people.
here's
out.
what it is. No,
Why
no,
not? I
Here's-
thought
no,
that was
no,
the
no,
thing.
no.
Go ahead. Okay,
Here's my theory on it. You should probably unfriend them because you don't need that kind of stupidity in your life. What? A wasted season. They went 13-3. Like, how is that? Like you guys already touched on.
13-3 in a season where best case scenario was 10-6.
No one in the right mind predicted this team would win 13 games. No one. And when I personally looked at the offseason, and you touched on this, Chrome, I didn't look at Howie Roseman's move as, he's making these moves in order to win the NFC East. No, I looked at these moves as, okay, he's getting Alshon Jeffrey, he's getting Torrey Smith because he wants to develop Carson Wentz. He wants to surround Carson Wentz with weapons, and that's what he wants to do. He wasn't looking to load up to make a playoff run or anything like that. He was building this thing, and he was developing Wentz.
And even when he got Ajayi, it was not just a move for this year, it's a move going forward.
I will say that I do think the Ajayi thing was him realizing, oh my God, hey, we actually have something here. Let's jump on this.
Right, but it was right. But I think it was for both purposes. It's not only is this a guy now, but this is a guy that we have going forward.
It's a frugal move because it does. It helps you now and it helps you in the future. Yeah. But yeah, I just can't. I can't even wrap my head around someone saying this would be a wasted season.
Yeah, I will say this before we wrap it up because I have to be careful because it's like I have like a 10-minute thing planned for tomorrow,
and that's fine. I don't want you to give away. I don't want you to give away your show.
Not about me giving it up. I know if I go off on it, you won't be able to get off. I won't get off the air. I will continue talking until probably tomorrow.
I'll talk with you.
Yeah, in a year that featured storylines and moments, and this is just to name a few: the Jake Elliott kick, where I instantly lost my voice after how freaking nuts I went. I'm not the only one.
I almost got hit by a car.
That could be a show in itself, just explaining that.
I'm just telling you.
Moments.
Story there.
Like, I don't know, Carson Wentz going onto the field and being a magician every single week.
That Redskins Monday night game, man.
Stories like the Dutch Destroyer and that kid I sent you that link the other night.
Please don't make me cry again.
Yeah.
Please don't make me cry again.
Anything like that. Seasons where no one, all of the quote-unquote geniuses spent the entire year and said, when Darby went out, when Peters went out, when Sproles went out, even when Wentz went out, they were saying, no chance, sign it off, you're done. And we're still here. The fact that I can look outside my window after we get hit by a cyclone, bomb cyclone, whatever you're going to call it, and look out the window and with the snow piling up and not be able to leave the freaking house for 5 days and think it's okay, I still have my Eagles. You cannot tell me that it is a waste of my time. Yeah. You can't do it. You cannot do it.
Exactly.
It's insane. I can't believe someone
get rid of that negativity.
I was going to say.
And I'm just and just to wrap it up with what he said too. All those moments you talked about, that's the stuff that makes you enjoy watching football.
Exactly.
Makes you enjoy the sport. This is the most fun season I've had in years.
Oh my God.
And there's nothing that there's not one single loss that's going to take away all the fun, all the good times. Me and Charles have been out at a place and met a lot of really cool people this year. Nobody can take that stuff away, and nobody can tell me that going forward, this team hasn't shown this year that this is a team that we have more to look forward to.
Exactly.
Bingo.
And
Nailed it.
if you are in a position to continue to do this, even after a loss this season that ends this season, no worries, guys. There is next year. And it's not like, there's always next year.
It's like,
there's next year.
And there's the year after that. And the year after that. You have a 23-year-old or 24-year-old quarterback who's an MVP
you have a guy that might be you have a
Yes.
guy that in 5 years might be the best quarterback in the league for the 10 years after that.
And we have a coach to possibly compliment him for
Absolutely.
for that time too.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Get rid of that negativity.
So, guys, great discussions tonight. On Facebook, on YouTube,
Thanks,
on
YouTube
the
guys.
couch, on the ones and twos. All great discussion tonight. I thank you guys so much for contributing. Paul, thanks for joining us again. Chucks, Ryan did an awesome job tonight. I'm Chrome. Birds of a feather, guys.
Give it to 36.
Let's go. It's going to be a good week.
Give it to 36.
Sit down.
Woo!
Sit down. You're blocking the goat. Guys, thanks again for joining us on Birds of a Feather. Lots of great shows, The Fix, AM and the PM, Agree to Disagree, lots of good stuff, hockey happy hour, lazy booking, all kinds of stuff, Sports Hounds next week. Thanks for joining us. Gibson Mayer LLC, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Stream Smart. Thank you, Scanzano Sports. And also from the BMW of Atlantic City for sponsoring us here and sponsoring the studio. Guys, have a great week. Enjoy the game. Enjoy it.